dark spots with blurring that I'm seeing.
There's a blind spot like a blob over my vision now.
Is my vision lost forever?
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist in a timely manner have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Don't delay seeing a retina specialist. It's worth the visit to save your vision so you don't miss out on life's precious moments, like seeing your grandchild grow up, enjoying a sunset with that special someone, or reading a good book. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score!
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Center of the net, Jarvis scores! You take advantage, and Carolina's power play cashes in. It's 1-0 Hurricanes here in Calgary. That shot slaps out in front, they'll score! Jack Roslovic, and it's 2-0 Carolina. And they score! Marty Necas to the Century Club, his 100th career goal, has Carolina up 3-0. Robinson, if he gets to an empty net, bingo! Eric Robinson's first as a Cane. It's an empty netter, and it's 4-2 Carolina.
It is the Adam Gold Show. How you doing? Welcome to your Friday. I am Adam Gold. That is Victoria. 2 days in a row. Good for you.
I know. I had to be here for a Friday.
Yeah. After waiting all the way to like 2:55:20 last week.
Last Friday, I waited until the very last second, so I had to get it out now.
It's all good. It's happy. We're hoping to stay awake for the duration of the show today.
Yes, yeah.
Wasn't as bad as it'll be Monday when the Hurricanes are in Vancouver.
Right.
But it was still by the time I shut everything down and closed my eyes, it was still 2.
Yeah, so. I know. Well, they are on their fried food tour. So
they are. The giant turkey leg tour, still a rousing success. Sort of like your man in the shooting games.
I know, right?
Fair.
Yeah.
So although we didn't get a giant panda out of it yesterday.
Man, that's unfortunate.
It's all right. It was better than that. We had a 4-2 win for Carolina. So
yeah.
It was very good. There's a ton. We have week 9 in college football.
Yep.
We have week 8 in the NFL, including a Back to the Future endeavor for the Carolina Panthers.
Whoa. Yeah. Well, too bad it wasn't Back to the Future Day today versus, what was the last day? Was it Tuesday where I did all Back to the Future theme songs?
Great. It's great. We might need the flux capacitor for today. And we'll talk about the Bryce Young experience going to Denver, which, frankly, it's not even about Bryce. I would say this would be the case regardless who was playing quarterback, is going to be a tall task for the Panthers because, and I'll explain this as we really get into the show here, Denver on both lines is awesome.
Yeah.
At the real reason why the Broncos have been a difficult out for everybody is that they are excellent on both lines of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get to all of that. We'll talk a little Canes. We have World Series Game 1 tonight. Yep. Garrett Cole versus John Flaherty. The Yankees, I believe, are slight underdogs in the World Series. I don't know when the last time you could say that was.
I know. That's weird.
Where the Yankees going in to a World Series were not the betting favorites. And I'm going to just double check it, but I had them at plus just a little bit, like plus 120 or something like that.
If any person would make them be an underdog, it would be Ohtani. So
yeah,
maybe that's what needed.
And by the way, Dave Roberts said yesterday, Dodgers manager, that Shohei Ohtani will definitely not pitch.
Okay.
So remember, he's missed the entire season, dealing with, I believe it was Tommy John surgery. He had surgery on his elbow.
Yep.
But he's far enough removed from it where theoretically he could. But I don't think he hasn't pitched all year, so why would the Dodgers make him pitch now, right?
Heck of a time to start, yeah.
Yeah, it would not be a great idea. So let's see. Officially, yes, the Yankees are plus 104. So this is a pretty much a toss-up World Series. I would argue that almost every World Series is a toss-up because it's baseball.
Yeah.
But you do have the two top seeds. You've got the Dodgers, you got the Yankees, and we'll talk more about that as we move on. But there's a lot of stuff to do. There's local flair for each team in the World Series. Carlos Rodon, Holly Springs native, legend of NC State.
Mm-hmm.
And Evan Phillips, Dodgers reliever, is a graduate of, I believe, Clayton High School.
There you go.
We're actually going to talk to his dad
Nice.
today. Yeah, we got stuff to do. So let's do it. You can bet on any player to hit a 500-foot home run in the World Series.
Any. I don't know if I'd do it on all of them, but you never know with the World Series.
How about this? Like, I don't know why I'm attracted to this right now. It's a ridiculous bet. Any player to hit 6 or more home runs in the World Series and break the all-time World Series record for home runs, somehow that is only plus 3,000. That's not good enough value for me to do it.
No. But, I don't know. Aaron Judge in there. Even Ohtani. Those two would be, if anyone were going to do it in this World Series.
I don't know, man.
Those guys, or Shoto. You never know.
Mike Stanton against Cleveland. Mike Stanton hit 4 home runs in 5 games. Judge didn't even have that good a series. He had a couple of home runs. He had 2 home runs.
Yeah, well.
Juan Soto had a series. Actually, Stanton didn't have a great series either. He just hit 4 home runs. All 4 of his hits
were
home runs. All right, we got. Let's step into the NFL and the Bryce. Yeah, no. What am I doing? We're starting with a positive.
We should.
We're starting with the Carolina Hurricanes, an Alberta sweep. We should actually bump with Alberta.
Okay, we can do that.
What's the Clapton song, right?
I will look that up.
A big Clapton song. 4-2 was the final score last night. A absolutely dominating first 30 minutes. The first half of the game, I mean, incredibly one-sided. First 5 minutes belonged to Calgary. Pyotr Kochetkov, who got to start last night, had to make 3 really good saves in the first 5 minutes. And then the Hurricanes proceeded to absolutely own the game. But when Jake Bean, yes, that Jake Bean, when he scored right off a face-off, kind of just flipped one in that got past Kochetkov through traffic, he never saw it, and made it 3-1, kind of turned the game around a little bit. And I thought from that point, Calgary might have been slightly better. It was certainly no better for Carolina than even. And it got to 3-2, and there were some hairy moments. Kochetkov played really well, and we'll talk about him in a second. But the first 30 minutes was incredible. The first 5.5 minutes of the second period were breathtaking. Check this out. The Hurricanes, you heard 2 of the goals there. The Roslovic and the Natchez goal happened a minute 18 apart before 2 minutes were gone in the second period.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina, not only did they have those 2 goals in just under 2 minutes, they had 12 shots on goal in the first 5:44. There were other shots that were blocked or missed the net. They recorded 12 shots on goal in under 6 minutes of the
That's a
second
lot.
period. It was an onslaught.
Yeah.
When that period kind of ended, there was a face-off, and I went, I shouldn't feel like we've left some out here, but I wonder if it's going to matter. Now, I wouldn't say that there were, that had to be a goal, because there weren't any of those like happened early in Edmonton when you missed 4 empty nets in the first period.
Right.
So there weren't any of those, but for all of the dominance, you wanted to get a little bit more out of it, but it was 3-0. And the Jake Bean goal happened about midway through the second period. And that kind of turned it around a little bit. And Carolina had to sweat out the last 6:55. But they're equipped to do that, especially when your goaltender is playing well. And Kochetkov was playing well. It was an important start for him, too. Because Kochetkov, the game in St. Louis was not great. It wasn't necessarily that he played poorly. He just didn't play that well. It's kind of a weird, if you try to get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
None of the goals were bad goals.
Right.
But there were also a couple where he just could have done better with. He could have fought around screens more. He could have been more aggressive on the goal that made it 4-3 St. Louis in the third period.
Maybe he just didn't sleep very well the night before.
It's very possible. Maybe he went to the fair.
He did.
He flew back and
Right.
went to the fair.
All that fried food.
Yeah, it'll do it. That'll definitely do it. But he was exceptionally good last night. And when you throw in the fact that Freddie Anderson has been good in all 3 starts and was great in Edmonton, it was important for Kochetkov to hold up his end because he wants to be the guy. I think most of us who have been watching this team feel like he needs to be the guy by the end of the year. So anything that happens in, mid to late October probably isn't a deal breaker for, February, March, April. But you don't want to lose ground because Rod has shown he'll play. If Freddie's playing well and Piotr's not, he'll roll Freddie out there a couple of times in a row.
For sure.
And I actually thought after Edmonton, based on what I saw in St. Louis, if I were Rod Brind'Amour, I would have thrown Freddie Anderson back out on the ice yesterday. But Kochetkov got the start, and he absolutely answered the challenge. He was really, really good. By the way, expected goals for Calgary in the game was about 3.5. And Kochetkov only allowed 2. The second goal he had no chance on at all. So he was really, really good. All right, Rod Brind'Amour on especially that early stretch of the second period.
Yeah, it was just we had the good zone time. We were in their end for a lot of that kind of segment of the game, and then we were just able to capitalize. No different on kind of what they did on their goals, kind of the same kind of thing.
The trick to the first part of the second period, Carolina didn't lose a faceoff.
That helps.
Just kept winning faceoffs.
Yep.
So, again, when you do that, it just makes the whole thing easy, right? So, on the Roslovic goal, Aho wins the draw with help from Svechnikov, but Aho won the draw. Svechnikov gets the puck back to Burns. Burns shoots it at on frame. Roslovic got his stick. I don't know if he deflected it or not, but he certainly bothered Vladar. Rebound came right to him. Vladar's out of position. Roslovic puts it in an empty net, settles the puck, puts it into an empty cage. The Natchez goal, the same thing. Kokaniemi wins the draw. Ultimately, puck, Gostisbehere shoots it from the right wall. He gets it on net. It was really designed for a rebound. That shot was not designed to score. It goes right to Natchez. Natchez settles the puck, goes far side, just inside the post through kind of a screen. Boom. 3. But it was win the draw, win the draw, win the draw, keep possession in the zone, apply all the pressure. It was outstanding. All right. Special teams on the road trip. Remember, we were wondering, oh, man, power plays 0 for 5 in the 2 home games. Penalty kill. The Devils scored a 5-on-3 power play goal, and Tampa scored 2 power play goals. It was 2 of 6, but really 2 of 5. We were worried. Is the power play going to be good? Power play's good. 5 out of 12 on the road trip. Penalty kill stopped 14 of 15 so far in the 4 games.
It's good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So no worries there. Last night, Martin Necas was my first star. And all the things we wanted to see from Necas this year, and it's early. We have played 6 games. So we're not here making declarative statements that this guy is exactly who we needed him to be. But for 6 games, for the most part, and nobody has been perfect. And in fact, almost everybody was poor in the first game. He's been very good, and he was very good last night. So Necas, who has 8 points, 3 goals, 5 assists in 6 games. Jarvis, I thought, was excellent last night. I talked about this on the podcast. I dig Seth Jarvis with Jordan Stahl and Jordan Martinook. I love the energy that he plays with. Not that William Carrier doesn't, because he does. And Carrier actually was a pretty good part of the Drury line with Jackson Blake, who 2 games in a row now, I think Jackson struggled a little bit. But we might have a big stretch of games here for Blake just to kind of get back to what he was doing the first few games. We'll set that aside. But I love the way Jarvis plays when he plays with Stahl and Martinook. He generally plays that way with Aho, too. Whether it's with Aho and Svechnikov or Aho and Razov, it doesn't really matter. He generally plays that way. But because Stahl and Martinook play that way all the time, it just looks perfect. And I think Seth digs it. But I thought Jarvis was great. He had the power play goal that made it 1-0.
Maybe their energy's contagious, too, with each other.
Oh, gosh.
That helps.
Seth likes to play that way.
Yeah.
Because he's nuts. He's
nuts.
Absolutely nuts.
He's the best.
So, yeah, he is. Aho, I heard his interview after the game. Aho was not happy with his game. I will politely disagree with Sebastian. I think what he's getting at probably is that he had some scoring opportunities and didn't take them. But I thought his overall game was outstanding. I thought he was great on pucks. I thought he was great defensively. He was a big part of making it difficult for Calgary on the penalty when Carolina was trying to kill the 2 penalties. He got an assist on the Jarvis. Was it assist on the Jarvis goal? Yeah. He had an assist on the power play goal. I thought he was very good. And again, he was good in the faceoff circle, 14 out of 23. So I thought he was very good. That he didn't score, maybe that's where Sebastian is like, I didn't think I played very well. I'll disagree with that. I thought he played very well. Shane Gostisbehere and Sean Walker have been awesome. So I just want to point this out. Gostisbehere did not score yesterday. What is he doing? So in the simple possession metric of basically shot attempts for, shot attempts against, if you're a hockey fan, it's known as Corsi. They are first in the NHL at share, at percentage. More shots for when they're on the ice versus shots against. And it's not close. They're almost like 8% better than anybody else. They are just flat out amazing. Expected goals against, by a lot, best in the league. Expected goals percentage, how many goals your team is expected to score based on the play when you're on the ice versus how many you're expected to give up. First in the league. Again, not close. Far and away first in the league. And big scoring chances, grade A scoring chances, first in the league. 80% is the percentage for them. So if there are 5 grade A scoring chances when they are on the ice, 4 of them are for the Hurricanes, 1 would be for the opposition. They have been amazing. On this road trip, Canes have won 3 of 4. They have won 4 of 5 since the game against Tampa Bay. and Rod Brind'Amour on winning on the road?
I mean, it's good to win anytime, regardless of what the opponent's doing. We needed to win, and it was an interesting game. I thought we were going really well, and we got up 3, and then we kind of came off a little, and they put it on us, so we were able to hang on, get the win.
Calgary had not lost a game in regulation yet. They were 5-0-1. They had played overtime in their last 2 games. They won in a shootout. They lost in overtime the time before. Now Carolina's going to Seattle tomorrow night. Seattle's playing pretty well as well. All right, ready to talk about Bryce Young?
Ooh.
Why are you afraid? Why are you afraid?
We've seen this movie.
Oh, come on. What to expect from Bryce Young in Denver? Brad Idzik is the Panthers offensive coordinator, and the process of reaching this decision on giving Young the keys to the store again.
When it comes to Bryce, we know how valuable the reps are of practice during the week, and once the determination of whether or not Andy would be able to practice a little bit during the week, we'd love to give those reps to the guys and get the full speed reps and move on. But I know Dave's addressed a lot of that stuff, but the decision came when it felt like it was appropriate, top down from Dave, and we were ready to rock.
All right, let's go now. Deontay Johnson, who will be, my assumption is, Bryce Young's top receiving target. His thoughts on the quarterback switch?
Still learning, on a daily. So, he going to be prepared, like he always is, and just come in and work, Had a game plan down pat, make sure that everybody know what they're doing out there, So, like I said, when it comes to stuff like that, I'm not really too much worried about that with him.
Yeah, that wasn't convincing.
No, he did not sell me on that.
No.
I was waiting to be sold on it.
Yeah.
He did not sell me.
Not a buyer.
Adam Thielen returns from injuries, missed a bunch of games in a row. Remember last year he was the security blanket for Bryce Young. Brad Idzik, back to him. How much does Thielen impact things?
Yeah, Adam, he's a sounding board for the quarterbacks. He's a sounding board for a guy who's played a lot of football and has experience with route adjusts. So you see, as we're trying to work through things on the sideline and between plays, he's always right in the middle of it. And he's been there the last couple weeks, been a huge help. But just having him out in the field, once you call the play and you put those guys out there, he's still communicating that thing pre-snap to some of those guys and helping them out. So it's invaluable to have him out there.
That's a roundabout way of calling him old, which is fine. I got no problem with it. He's like 34, so as a football player, kind of is old.
Ancient.
Trade deadline is coming. Adam Schefter, I was watching ESPN earlier, and they had trade possibilities. Both Adam Thielen and Deontay Johnson are on his list of possible trade targets. Bryce Young was on there too, by the way. And we know that the Panthers would probably move Miles Sanders if they could. Joe Person yesterday told us that they wouldn't be moving Chuba Hubbard. I hope they sign Chuba Hubbard if they're not going to trade him. Because I would say the same thing about Deontay Johnson. If you're not going to trade him, then sign him. Because there's no reason. You're not going anywhere. Although there is in a roundabout way, if Bryce Young plays well, then you want to keep guys around to at least enhance Bryce Young's trade value. Because I do think that the Panthers are not convinced now that Bryce Young is ever going to be their quarterback. Either way, with Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, and now DeAndre Hopkins all gone, rumors have Johnson available. Here's Deontay.
I want to be here. I'm here, but like I said, I leave that up to the front office. Like I can only control what I can control, and like I said, go from there. Like my job is here just to come here and help this organization win games.
That was a quick but.
Yeah, look. Here's the thing. Every football player, especially when you are in an organization that did not draft you, right? They traded for Deontay Johnson, but they did not draft you. He spent his formative NFL years in Pittsburgh. So Deontay Johnson doesn't have roots with the Panthers. It might not even matter if you do. Look, these guys it's a job. Yes, you love the game, but it's a job. And you are trying to extract as much from this sport as you can before your time is up as a player. As an example, not that he was going to be a pro, Grayson McCall retired 2 days ago. Not only wasn't he ever going to be a pro, now he's not playing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So you just never know how much time you have playing this game. So when you are a professional, it is your responsibility to pull as much out of it as you can, because that's exactly what the league is doing. That's exactly what the sport is doing to you. They're pulling as much out of you as they can. You need to do the same. So if you're Johnson and the Panthers, who are admittedly awful, yeah, you want to play. You want to have a chance to go to the playoffs. You want to play in big games. You want to make money.
Yeah.
So if you're Johnson, if the Panthers aren't going to pay you, you might as well go somewhere that you can maybe win a bunch of games, play in high-profile games, playoff games, and then if you stay there or you sell yourself on the open market, do it. So I got no problem if Deontay Johnson even talks openly about being a free agent, but he's saying all the right things. Again, if I'm the Panthers, I am looking to move him, depending on what I can get back. And if I can't, I start talking to him about signing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think he's going to be a super expensive wide receiver. And if he is demanding those types of numbers, then I'm definitely not signing him. But I know about that before the trade deadline. I will know about that before the trade deadline. The only thing that would change my mind is if Bryce Young plays well in Denver.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate that.
Yeah.
But if he plays well in Denver, then I am thinking about building up Bryce Young's value to make him more attractive to a trade.
Sure.
And you can't do that without good wide receivers. You just can't do it. All right, here's why I'm pessimistic about Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not necessarily about Bryce Young. I don't know that it would be any better with Andy Dalton. Denver's pass rush win rate, first in the NFL.
Yikes.
First. The Panthers' pass rush block rate, not good.
Right.
Okay? So that's a problem. The Broncos' run stop win rate, 10th in the NFL.
Also not good.
And they're also great at both pass blocking and run blocking on their offensive line. So at the line of scrimmage, the places where the Panthers struggle the most, the Broncos are outstanding.
They excel.
So
Not
that's
great.
it. All right, we got World Series with as much star power as we have ever seen, plus a local flavor in each dugout. We will talk with Evan Phillips' father, Joe. Evan is a Clayton High School grad. The World Series starts tonight. Joe Phillips joins us next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
Jordan Moore delivers, and the Blue Devils have the lead.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford and by Amedios.
Last night in Thursday Night Football, we saw an underdog win in a big way. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here for BetMGM, and the LA Rams completely turned things around now that they have Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp back in, so maybe the next game you feel good about one of them being an anytime touchdown score. We also had the Carolina Hurricanes put a tally in the win column against the Flames last night, so maybe you like taking Sebastian Aho as an anytime goal scorer. Plus, there is a big MMA card this weekend for UFC 308 that I'm super excited about, so
so maybe you think Max Holloway is keeping his title with another knockout. You can bet on all of those things and so much more when you use the BetMGM app, because you're going to see options like betting the money line, prop bets, live bets, same-game parlays, and BetMGM also offers fun daily promotions. All brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today and please gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed a musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Tar Heel Basement Systems comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at tarheelbasementsystems.com/row, and while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Hi, it's Jonathan Cotton, and people often ask me, what is the Good Feet store? A shoe store? I respond, we are an arch support store. Haven't you spent enough time trying different shoes and all the disposable products that are supposed to make your feet feel better? Go to goodfeet.com to make your appointment today.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season, and that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great, it's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
From the Canes to the Panthers to all of the college sports in the Triangle, we cover it all on the Best of the Drive with Tim Donnelly podcast. Brought to you by Coach Pete at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does that make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. World Series Game 1 tonight. Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. Yankees and Dodgers. This is the 12th renewal of a Yankee-Dodger World Series. It's the most frequent matchup in big league history. Arguably, I don't even know if it's arguable, to be honest, the two most storied franchises in the history of professional baseball, the Yankees and the Dodgers. The Yankees have the most World Series titles. The Dodgers are not second. I believe the Cardinals are second, but the Dodgers have played in the second most World Series and have largely lost mostly to the Yankees. They are 3-8 all time. But the Dodgers are on a one World Series winning streak because the last time they met was 43 years ago, 1981. It's interesting that year came up earlier this week when Fernando Valenzuela passed away because he was a rookie on that Dodgers team in 1981. And I have talked about, playoff baseball here, a lot. And in my opinion, the number one factor that determines the outcome of playoff series, number one factor. We could talk about the lineups all day long. How good is your bullpen? You're going to need it. How good is your bullpen? There is no bullpen better than the Los Angeles Dodgers bullpen. None. They just throw zeros all the time. And I was watching the sixth game of the series between the Mets and the Dodgers, and the Dodgers threw a bullpen game. As it turned out, the Mets, arguably top starter, got lit up, and the Mets also had a bullpen game that day, but the Dodgers kept bringing in somebody who had given up no runs. Oh, look, he hasn't given up any runs in this series. Hasn't 0 runs in this series. And now it's very possible, because it's the nature of baseball, that could flip. But if you have a great bullpen, you have a chance to win. And I know everybody, the star power in this series is real. We don't know how much Freddie Freeman is going to be able to impact things for the Dodgers. But there are no bigger, the stars in this series, Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, both won MVPs. Aaron Judge won an MVP. Giancarlo Stanton hasn't won an MVP, but he's been a great postseason player. Juan Soto is one of the 5 best players on the planet. In fact, you've probably got 4 of the best 5 players in baseball in this series, everyday players in baseball, in Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Aaron Judge, and Juan Soto. And for all of the accolades being thrown at the Yankees for their middle of the order, and I think we talked with Mike Maniscalco earlier this week, and he basically said 3 Babe Ruths. Sorta. Because the numbers that the Yankees' big 3 have put up, certainly in the ALCS, but even before then, the home run numbers are real. Mike Stanton has 10 hits in the postseason this year. It's not bad. It's basically averaging about a hit a game. He's got 10 hits. So Stanton's, of his 10 hits, 5 of them are home runs. He certainly has been good, but if you think about this, Mookie Betts had 9 hits in the last series. He was 9 for 26. Shohei Ohtani, who is about an 800 hitter with runners in scoring position, was 8 for 22 against the Mets in the last series in 6 games. So those guys have been dominant hitters. What I think Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, and Mike Stanton have been, less so Soto. Soto's been a better player. For the most part, have been sluggers. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying they have made a lot more outs than Betts and Ohtani have. All right, Evan Phillips is one of those Dodger relievers I was talking about. He has yet to allow a run in 5 postseason outings for the Dodgers. Not only is he a graduate of Clayton High School, but he is also a UNC Wilmington product. So shouts to you guys down at ESPN Wilmington. Shouts at the beach. One of your own is in the World Series. So we're going to just talk to Evan Phillips' dad. He joins us on the Adam Gold Show. When was the last time your feet touched the ground, Dad?
Hey, Adam. Well, it's pretty surreal, and it's I can't tell you. You probably hear it in my voice. It's still just unbelievable. Never did we imagine he would get to that point and be able to play in the World Series. And there's people that played all their career and never get there. So it's pretty crazy right now. It's just an unbelievable feeling. And I just got off the phone with Evan. He called me and he it's actually 9:30 out there.
Yeah.
He's already headed to the ballpark, and I doubt he got much sleep. So, and none of us are really getting any sleep.
He's a little anxious. Now, his journey, everybody's journey is different, right? So he was drafted out of high school, chose to go to college. He was drafted, I think, because I was looking at his baseball reference page. By the way, you should frame that, just the front page of Baseball Reference, my favorite website. But he was drafted in the 33rd round, decided to go to school, then was drafted, I think, in 2015 by the Braves. And it was not meteoric rise. How hard was it to go through all of the, the trials and tribulations with him as he just kind of found his way to where he is now?
Yeah, it's obviously a lot of anxiety, a lot of sleepless nights, and a lot of prayer for him. And all I can say is he worked really hard, and there were ups and downs, and probably more downs. Until he got to the point where he was out of Baltimore, which wasn't any fault of theirs. It just was a whole timing thing, and he went to Tampa for a week, and I think a lot of it changed in Durham with the pitching coach there. And I apologize, I can't remember who that was, but there was just a couple things that really he suggested to Evan, and that really kind of turned it. And mentally, Evan was in a spot where he wasn't sure which direction his career was going to go. So he had the opportunity there for Tampa. He was there for a week. I think he went up to, I would think it was Minnesota on a Friday. He pitched there with Tampa. They DFA'd him the next day, waited for a day or two, and then, the Dodgers picked him up. And from there, it's been pretty incredible since. I think he had a decent 21 season, finishing out with the Dodgers, and then 22 was at a level that never did we imagine. Just with the numbers, and but and then from that point, it's just been great. And but you mentioned Wilmington, right? So just shout out to Coach Hood and his staff. What they did with Evan was phenomenal, and I can't say enough good about UNCW and their program. So I just wanted to give them a shout-out.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out whoever you like. If you have any other shout-outs you want to throw out there, that's fine too. Evan Phillips, reliever for the Dodgers, 18 saves on the season. We're talking with Evan Phillips' father, and that's my son is like a high school athlete. And when people, I just want to be known as Jack's dad. That's don't call me by my name. That's how I identify. But the right fit is so important. So if it didn't go well in Atlanta, or Tampa decided that they weren't going to use him, or Baltimore same way, why do you think it fit in Los Angeles? Because this is the third year, I believe, he's been pitching in the postseason, or fourth year. He's yet to allow a run. Not even an unearned run. Yet to allow a run in postseason. And I hope I'm not jinxing him. I don't believe in jinxes, but why do you think it just clicked?
I think so. I don't know. I'll reference back to when Evan was playing travel baseball with the Indians, and he was 10 to 12 years old, and we always played up a level or two, and he would always rise to the occasion, knowing that hey, we're playing guys that are a lot better. And it's like when he got to LA, he was starstruck, and just with the guys in the dugout, Clayton Kershaw, Trey Turner, Mookie Betts, and then Freddie Freeman arrives, and they're just stars everywhere. So I think in his mind, mentally, he just registered to him like, okay, I've got to step it up, and he did, and that's the only thing I can say that really that I would know mentally. It just clicked, and command got better. But yeah, I think it was just elevating to try to knowing stars are all around him, and he has to get to pitch that level, the highest level there is, and with an iconic team is just phenomenal. And, so never did we imagine, like I say.
Yeah, at least 60 appearances each of the last 3 years with the Dodgers. The walk rates are pretty low. Strikeout to walk ratio is basically in the neighborhood of 4-1. That's outstanding, especially coming out of the bullpen. How are you when you watch these games? And I know you're not going to game 1 or 2. You're going to meet the Dodgers in New York for game 3. But how are you? What is your anxiety level watching?
It's funny you mentioned that, Adam, because I was watching the MLB channel, and Mark Leiter was talking about his nephew playing for the Yankees, and
right.
His brother played, and Mark is like saying he chews his nails off every time his nephew gets in the pitch. Well, it's about the same, and I will tell you, there's baseball superstitious, and to be honest with you, I rarely watch, and even throughout the whole season, I know it's 10 o'clock here when they start games in LA, but even on East Coast travel time, I don't watch. I just, I know he's going in, and this may sound kind of corny and weird, but I just jump out and run out into, our golf cart and our Polaris Ranger, and I ride around the neighborhood for about 10 minutes, and then I check. And then it's just a big relief. And I've been doing that for the past 2 years now.
So what are you going to do when you go to Yankee Stadium for Game 3?
Yeah, well, there's been
you bringing the golf cart
when I've had to go live, and even so we went to DC, and I'll just what I'll do is get up and just walk the concourse, or go down in the family room and turn the TV off, and I just kind of just sit there, and I have a hard time. It's just anxiety for me, and I can't even imagine him and being out there in front of 40 to 50,000 people and just yelling and screaming. So it's, I don't know. I can't, my nerves can't handle it, but, I don't want to miss, these, especially the World Series. I think I'll probably just sit in my seat, honestly. So,
you can go to the concession stand, and probably the lines are probably pretty long. You'll miss you might miss an inning and a half.
I promise you that, I will just sit there and, I'll just, kind of deal with it. But anyway, it's kind of weird and corny that I do that, but it's just like, my son-in-law tells me all the time, it's like, man, what are you doing? You're missing all this. And my wife as well. And it's like, I just, anxiety is just, over the top. So.
We all deal with these things. Well, real quick before I let you go, I've been a lifelong Mets fan, and this year the Mets did better than I expected. But even when we got to the end of the series against Philadelphia, I couldn't bring myself to watch the ninth inning, the bottom of the ninth inning. But
yeah.
I watched it after the inning was over. I went back and watched it. I hope you at least go back and watch Evans' appearances, his performance after it's over, so you can at least see it.
Yeah, I do every single time.
Okay.
I'm participant in MLB. Where the website you go on and you can just replay it. So I do it even minutes after he's pitching, or I'll wait till the next day. It's just and then the bad outings I probably won't even watch, and I sometimes I don't do that, but yeah, so I will go back and watch, of course.
All right, well, good luck to you and to Evan Phillips' father from Clayton High School and UNC Wilmington. Shouts to everybody, and good luck to you this World Series.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. I appreciate you.
You got
Go
it.
Dodgers.
Go Dodgers. Evan Phillips' dad here on the Adam Gold Show. All right. I can relate. That was so relatable to me. Right? I just can't.
Yeah.
I'm sure Evan's cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure Evan is cool with it. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
He's been pitching in the big leagues for a long time now. So
I mean, I get it. I root for Biff when we play fetch all the time. So that's
Oh, man. All right, we got one timer when we come back. Questions and answers. I'll hopefully have answers.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
As fall championships begin, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling home from today's events. Whether you're driving out of town or across town this holiday season, wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. During the busiest time of travel, prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. And remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Trust ACT Construction Equipment and Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders to position your tree service for success. ACT Construction Equipment is your authorized dealer for sales, service, parts, and rentals for Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders. ACT Construction Equipment has been your authorized dealer for Bandit equipment for over 10 years. Visit one of our 6 North and South Carolina locations or actce.com for more details on Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders. ACT Construction Equipment, always the right equipment for the job.
The 2024 Atlantic hurricane season is predicted to be among the most active we've ever experienced. Prepare your home now against power outages of all types with a Generac home standby generator from Alternative Power. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, helping protect you and your family. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Real quick, raise your hand if you want to lose an additional 4 bands a year. Go ahead and put your hands up. Put your hands up. You voted for Kamala Harris. Oh, okay. My fault. Good, because I don't think people understand that voting for Trump means you will lose an additional $4,000 to $5,000 a year. If Trump is elected, he plans to add a 60% tariff on all imports from China. Anything in your house that says made in China, take the price that you paid for and add 60%. He plans to add a 20% tariff on all imports coming from every other country. With Kamala Harris's opportunity economy, she's not hitting you with the sales tax of doom. She's providing tax cuts to the middle and working class, so that means you will save an additional $4,000 to $5,000 a year. Plus the $25,000 she's literally handing to new homebuyers. Like, you know who to vote for in this November's election. It's Kamala Harris. Paid for by FFPAC, ffpac.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FFPAC is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
Hello there, it's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rector request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we've got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
This is Adam Gold.
Maybe at some point after repeated losing, David Tepper will get out of the way.
Yeah, it's going to be on my Christmas list every year until it happens. So, there.
I wish I could give you that.
I wish
I could put a bow around that for you, Victoria.
Me too.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Thanks to Evan Phillips' dad. So when Evan Phillips enters the game, let's just say tonight in the, in the 6th inning, right? Just picture Evan's dad leaving the house, getting on the golf cart, and just driving aimlessly around the neighborhood
Right.
until Evan exits the ball game.
It's done.
So I hope the golf cart is charged.
Right.
Because you might have 20 or so minutes.
Oh, do you charge it? I don't know if you. I don't have a golf cart.
Yeah,
so.
golf carts in general
You charge them.
are electric.
Okay. I like to drive them.
Oh yeah, they're fun.
That's about the
Could use one, actually.
highlight of my time.
If anybody
on a
has
golf
one they're not using, by all means, let me know.
Yeah.
All right, we have lots to do, but it's Q&A time. One-timers.
It's actually Panthers paw
Oh,
print.
it's Panthers paw print. That's right. Oh wow.
We have to switch things up.
I'm sorry. My fault. I forgot it was Friday. You didn't tell me it was
say
Friday yet.
Friday
Yes, you did.
enough.
I'm making it up. Totally
Okay.
my fault.
So, what a rough one this weekend. They're going to be taking on the Broncos in Denver. That's never great. So, first thing, Dave Canales, can we stick to what we have always done best in the past? Run the ball, please.
Right.
Also, Bryce, he has a habit of, not throwing the greatest. So let's run the ball, please. That's number one. Also, you're going up against another rookie QB who he is working out the kinks, Bo Nix, so he's going to have some mistakes. Let's capitalize on those mistakes anytime it happens. You have to get them when you can. And then also, the Broncos have been really good on the outside, so our tight ends this weekend really need to step up their A game and be on it. So, that's asking a lot.
That doesn't. I'm not sure I'm very optimistic about that.
That is asking a lot, but
yeah,
we could maybe keep it close if these things happen.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. So, yeah, those are my 3 Panthers paw prints.
All right, now
to success, whatever that is.
So with Bryce Young, I mentioned that. Remember when I guess it was through 2 weeks. The Panthers had like the second-ranked pass block win rate team.
Yeah.
You know what their rank is right now?
It's bad.
27th. Denver's pass rush win rate is first. Pass block win rate for the Panthers, 27th. An ugly, ugly combination.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk, Panthers Playbook, the Paw Print. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
Dalton this time in a pistol set. Here's the snap. Hand off Chuba Hubbard straight up the middle. Big hole. He's got the 20, 15, 10, 5. Goodbye. Touchdown, Chuba Hubbard.
Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling. We do the job right every time.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling is celebrating 51 years of trusted service. And to celebrate, get a furnace tune-up for just $51. That's peace of mind heating for only $51. Visit MitchellHVAC.com. Mitchell Heating and Cooling. Quality products and services on time from a family you trust. It's hard to stop a train.
Hey, North Carolina, it's State Fair time, October 17th through the 27th in Raleigh. Homegrown happiness awaits. 11 days, just once a year. Come out and celebrate what's great about North Carolina. We've got the best deep-fried delights, the most blue ribbons ever, nearly 100 thrilling rides, and surprises around every corner. Bring your friends, bring your family, but most importantly, bring your sense of adventure. Get your discounted tickets now at ncstatefair.org. See you at the fair.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It's Paul Ihander for Game Day Men's Health. Are you low on energy or libido, feeling a bit more sleepy, losing confidence or focus? Discover health solutions and invest in your well-being at Game Day Men's Health. They offer a concierge medical clinic where you can be proactive about your health in a relaxed man cave environment. Explore options like testosterone therapy, ED solutions, weight loss, and peptides. With convenient appointments at 4 locations across the Triangle, it's never been easier to prioritize your health. Visit GameDayRaleigh.com today. Find the spot nearest you and book your free consultation. That's GameDayRaleigh.com.
From the Canes to the Panthers to all of the college sports in the Triangle, we cover it all on the Best of the Drive with Tim Donnelly podcast. Brought to you by Coach Pete at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com.
Last year's RV trip, we met a couple with the same bumper sticker. What are the odds?
Your cousin isn't a good storyteller.
He was a podiatrist, or was it a pharmacist?
You don't say.
Oh, I can't remember.
But she owns an RV protected by Progressive, and you don't. So until you get your own RV, her stories are the most interesting stories you've ever heard.
Wow, interesting.
And when you do get your own RV, save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive.
Oh, anesthesiologist. He was an anesthesiologist.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
They're close to being over. They have a razor-thin margin, and I'm sure nobody will agree with me, but let me lay it out. If they run the table, they will get in. But here's the problem. They have Missouri this weekend, manageable, but in 2 weeks, they go to LSU, where I don't think they can win. So I'll be an optimist and say there's a thin margin, but for the most part, their chances are getting very narrow.
Oh, man, everybody is speculating about the college football playoff. Who's going to get in? We're a little bit more than halfway, right? So how many weekends are there between now and Thanksgiving? That's the end of the regular season. So 5, right? We have this one, and then the Thanksgiving weekend is the 4th weekend in November.
Yes.
So we've got 5 weekends left. And I believe not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday is when we start with all of that fake garbage selection shows where we pretend that anything matters. I tell you this all the time. People are going to overreact. Don't overreact to anything you see, because none of it matters. It's all a joke. It's all a laugh. They're laughing at you if you react to it. I promise. But it's maybe it's good TV. I have no idea. I've never watched. Legitimately, have never watched one of those Tuesday shows.
Right.
I do see video clips the day after.
Yeah, that's it.
But I never, ever watch any of those shows. They're not getting my my rating, if you will.
Right.
We have a lot of stuff to do. We're going to talk a little hockey, a little bit about baseball. We have a week of football, weekend of football coming up. I was going and looking over the performances in the playoffs of the Yankees big hitters and the Dodgers big hitters. And for all of Aaron Judge's back, he's got in the playoffs, he has 2 home runs and 6 runs batted in. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's 5 for 31, 2 home runs and 6 runs batted in.
Playoff Judge.
So now he was better in the last series, but it wasn't awesome. both home runs and all 6 runs batted in, came in the ALCS against Cleveland. Juan Soto has been their best hitter. Soto, 11 for 33. That's a .333 batting average, 3 home runs, 9 runs batted in. Stanton, half of his 10 hits have been home runs. He's been good, though. 10 for 34 is good. It's about .290 or something like that. 5 home runs and 11 runs batted in. And that's a little bit better than his normal numbers would be. Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Kike Hernandez has been good for the Dodgers, a veteran player that they brought back. He is one of those guys that you absolutely want on your team. But they've got so much depth in their lineup. I think more depth than the Yankees have, and I think their bullpen is superior, including Evan Phillips, his dad will be I don't know,
in a golf cart the whole time,
biting on a towel like Jerry Tarkanian.
Right.
When Evan Phillips is in the game and he's not watching.
You know, we actually got a fun little fact on our YouTube stream because you can watch us on YouTube.
Oh, that's right.
And comment. And we had someone named Shaggy Doo is his name.
Perfect.
Hi, Shaggy. He said, Evan Phillips out of the Dodgers pen is from Clayton. He played at North Wake. He used to hit nukes. Him and one other kid are the reason that North Wake started making us use wood bats. And then he asked him about his son making us use wood bats when we were 11.
So he played in the North Wake baseball system, which is high level.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it rec league, travel ball. High level. Travel ball. Yeah, that's big time.
Yeah.
It's West Raleigh has a good one, a really good one. It's a very good youth baseball community here in North Carolina. Dynamite. So for somebody who grew up only playing baseball, it's cool to see youth baseball still be a thing because it gets overtaken by the prevalence of soccer, and I'm okay. I'm okay with soccer, but youth baseball was the thing when I was growing up. I never played rec league basketball. I never played pee-wee football, pop water football, none of it. It was only baseball when I was a kid. All right, take 2. All right, we'll start with the Carolina Hurricanes last night, who were excellent in a 4-2 win over Calgary. They are now, 4-2 is appropriate. They're 4-2 on the season. They lost their opener against Tampa, have won 4 of 5 since. They have been the better team every night. Just didn't work out in St. Louis, partially because Pyotr Kochetkov couldn't save them in St. Louis. He didn't play well enough for the Hurricanes to get out of there with 2 points. But he did last night. Not that they weren't better than Calgary. They were significantly better than Calgary. But they were also significantly better than St. Louis. And it seemed like every mistake they made ended up behind their goalie. At some point, your goalie's got to help you out. And last night, I thought Kochetkov was excellent. It was my second star. I probably could have made him the first star, but I thought Marty Necas was their best player. Necas is playing very well. Jarvis played well last night. Aho played well last night. The defensive, all 3 defensive pairs are playing well. If you look at possession metrics and all of those related things, expected goals, big chances, all of that, Carolina's 3 defensive pairs, Jacob Slavin and Brent Burns, Dmitry Orlov and Jalen Chatfield, and Shane Gostisbehere and Sean Walker, they're all in the top 10 in the league. Tells you something. Yes, it tells you about the system that Carolina plays, but it also tells you about the quality of their players. Because I just don't think you put anybody out there and they play to this level. There's a certain type of player that Carolina's looking for. Can you skate? Do you have good offensive instincts? Because part of Carolina's defensive ability is we have the puck. You can't score if we have it. So that is Carolina's system, but they don't always have it. And Carolina defends very well when you have it. So Hurricanes pick up a win 4-2. The dominance at the beginning of the second period was tremendous. All right, Bryce Young getting his third start of the season on Sunday in Denver. I'll go over the thing that scares me the most about this, but Brad Idzik, the offensive coordinator, as they went through, Andy Dalton was in a car accident on Tuesday, and they went through the scenario, and here's how they arrived at Bryce Young being the starter.
You know, when it comes to Bryce, we know how valuable the reps are of practice during the week, and once the determination of whether or not Andy would be able to practice a little bit during the week, we'd love to give those reps to the guys and get the full speed reps and move on. But I know Dave's addressed a lot of that stuff, but the decision came when it felt like it was appropriate, top down from Dave, and we were ready to rock.
Well, I wish Bryce Young well. I hope Carolina's got a plan because Denver's pass rush win rate is number 1 in the league, and the Panthers' pass block win rate is number 27. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yes, it is.
There is an area where the Panthers might be able to have some success, and we are going to test whether the head coach can be about that life. The Panthers are an exceptionally good, they're not the best, but a very good run-blocking team on the offensive line. They are 7th best in the NFL at that. The Broncos, if you took the two disciplines on the offensive and defensive line, where they are, and I'll use air quotes here, weakest, is stopping the run on their defensive line, which is ranked 10th. Still good. Still top third in the league. But that is the area where the Panthers must do well. Because if they can do well running the ball, they might be able to hold back the pass rush. But we'll see. I wish Bryce Young, I wish him well.
I know. We can only hope for the best.
I really wish him
prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Gosh, it's just. All right, I wanted to talk briefly about.
Hold on.
Wait a second.
We have some breaking news.
Do we?
Carolina Panther breaking news. So I figured while we're still on the theme.
Shoot.
Apparently, Deontay Johnson is out.
Like, not going to play or traded?
He's out. All I got was word that he is out, so I will look for the details. But when it comes to this Sunday,
all right. Well,
Deontay is out.
I'll have to do a little searching here, but we'll look for it. But here's the thing. Well,
yes, he is out for injury. Let's see.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
He got hurt in practice. Perfect.
Yes.
Hey, look, it happens.
A rib.
Oh, good. Well, maybe we can spin that as to being positive for Carolina's defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunate. Yeah. Now you'll get a chance to see Xavier Liggett. How much has he progressed?
Well, and Adam Thielen is Bryce's safety net, so you knew he would be targeting him anyway.
Right, Thielen is back, and we'll see Coker. Jalen Coker has played well. So that was the thing that we were excited about. And you talked about in one of your keys, their Panthers paw prints, you talked about the tight ends being important. This is a JT Sanders event. I mean, I don't think any of the other tight ends are all that good. So stop throwing to Ian Thomas.
Yeah, what are we
Just
doing?
stop throwing to Ian Thomas.
Yeah.
Know your personnel. He's just not good. I still don't understand why they re-signed him, but that's fine. Yeah, you're gonna have to also use Chuba Hubbard out of the backfield.
I know.
Right?
Run the ball.
Well, run it, but
you need to run the ball
in the pass game.
Yes.
Use your running backs in the pass game. So everything's got to be quick when it comes to what they want to do, especially with Denver's pass rush. So no Deontay Johnson. Well, that certainly changes things altogether. All right, so Grayson McCall announced his retirement from football. NC State's quarterback transfer from Coastal Carolina, had a very good career at Coastal Carolina. Of course, he missed a huge amount of time last season at Coastal with a concussion. And that was always going to be there. The concussion he suffered here a few weeks ago was not only devastating, but gruesome to watch because he wasn't wearing his helmet. Helmet had popped off.
Right. That's bad.
So he announced his retirement. He wanted to play, but doctors say, nah. Right? So good for him for being of sound enough mind. And that's not a trying to be a derogatory statement, because the competitive nature with all of these athletes are, I'll take care of myself. I will protect myself. And clearly, doctors, family, maybe Grayson himself, said, I just can't do it. I can't allow myself to do it because the results might be devastating. And I wish people wouldn't. I said this yesterday. We should call them, forget about concussions. He has an injured brain. That's what we should call them, because that's what they are. When they list on the injury report, knee, we should list brain.
Yeah.
What else do you need to know?
Makes sense.
His brain is hurt. His
Yeah.
brain is hurt.
Mhm.
So, moving on. So, good for him for having the wherewithal, the willpower, right, to say, I can't do this anymore. It's too much of a risk to my long-term health. I'm going to have to translate my love of football into something else. Now, as I transition to the Dolphins announcing that Tua Tagovailoa has cleared protocol and will play this weekend, I am not going to criticize him for playing. This is a grown man. He is a professional athlete under contract to the Dolphins who clearly this is the choice he is making. He has had some devastating concussions, right? He entered protocol. He missed 5 games. It's been about 5 games. It's like 4+, I think. And if the Dolphins didn't need a competent quarterback, they would. If the Dolphins had a credible backup, they might have the guts to say, no, Tua, we want you to sit longer, or we want you to take the rest of the year off. But the Dolphins don't. They don't have a credible backup quarterback. So the Dolphins are going to all right, let's go. Bring it. We need you. You want to play? It's his decision. And unless the only time it's not his decision is when the doctors step in and say, you can't play. But that's why they have all of these protocols. So he has cleared the protocol. He is right now of sound mind. So he's going to play. It's his decision. That's what these guys sign up for. I argue this all the time. To me, the NFL spends way too much time trying to make the game safer. Players are going to play. They know the risks of playing. But when it's all over, because you're using them just like they're using you for money, you should take care of them. I think NFL players deserve long-term health care from the league, all of them. All of them. It's criminal that the NFL got away with paying former players pennies on the dollar. It's criminal to me. But that's the court system, and that's the settlement that the players agreed to. Anyway, I wish Tua luck. I hope he stays healthy.
I hope so too.
That's honestly the only thing I care about is that he stays healthy.
I know.
So
there's also more bad Carolina Panther news.
Uh-oh. What do we got?
Adam Thielen is also out with a hamstring.
What happened?
I know.
Nobody wants to play.
We're going to have to get Sir Purr out there. Who is Bryce going to throw to? Oh, my gosh. Wow. Okay. It's going to be a great week.
I didn't even know.
It's going to be a great week.
Can Bryce Young declare himself out? I ain't playing. I got no receivers.
I know.
Are you joking?
Can I get a one-time salary? I'll play. I mean.
Wow. That's a tough week. Wow. All right. Julian Council is going to join us. My gosh. Let's see what he says about Bryce Young throwing to nobody.
Himself.
Next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Pack Therapy is in session thanks to First Horizon Bank. It's Tim Donnelly from 99.9 The Fan alongside legendary Wolfpack play caller Mike Glennon.
Every episode of Pack Therapy is your chance to get dialed in with inside information on your team.
We'll set you up for every Wolfpack game all season long.
And we'll break down every contest, what went right and what could have worked better.
Plus, special guests to keep Wolfpack hope alive.
Follow and subscribe to Pack Therapy wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
So the NBA is back. I'm not sure you heard. It's a family affair in Los Angeles, and the Knicks have gotten rid of one of their three-headed Villanova monster. But if you would like to check out the entire NBA, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, has you covered because right now all FanDuel users can get 3 months of NBA League Pass. All you got to do to catch every tip-off, every buzzer beater, every slam dunk, place a $5 wager on the NBA, and you get 3 months of NBA League Pass free. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Get 3 months of NBA League Pass courtesy of FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. After a 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.com.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. All right, everything for the exterior of your home. Do you have a favorite?
I have a favorite, yeah.
I want to hear
it. So windows, doors are my favorite products. The reason why is because we are the best at installing them. You know, there's 1,000 different types of windows on the market, doors on the market, different people installing them, different companies. I don't care how good a window you get. If it's not installed properly, it's not going to do you a bit of good. I always tell people, if you buy a submarine window, the best one in the world, and you have me put it on a submarine, you don't want to get in that submarine.
I don't want to get in the submarine either way.
I hear you. So anyway, so that's the thing I say. So it's really important that you have things installed properly. We've been around since 1961. We've got a 4.9 out of 5-star Google review ratings, over 800 reviews. Give us a call. We'll come out and give you a free no-obligation estimate.
It's the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. You can find them online at aluminumcompany.com.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
This is Adam Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Remember a couple of weeks ago, Victoria, we mentioned that Cam Newton had joined ESPN, right? Contributes to First Take and some other shows at the Worldwide Leader.
Yep.
Because he's on while we're on, I have never had a chance to actually listen to Cam Newton. But I will tell you that today, he has the greatest outfit I have ever seen on television.
Oh, he came with a really nice fit the first time he was there. I haven't seen it since.
They've all been wild.
Oh, yeah.
Today is next level. I can't even describe. It looks like something out of almost Wizard of Odd-ish.
Oh, okay.
Wizard of Oz.
I mean, it is almost Halloween, so he could be like dropping hints of what his costume's going to be.
The hat.
Oh my gosh, I think I can see it.
The hat is amazing. Again, I don't know. I've not heard him, but the hat is next. Just for the hat.
Back when we had good Panther things to talk about.
Exactly. All right. But it's always fun to talk about the Panthers with Julian Council, Locked On Panthers podcast. My friend who is on a humanitarian mission. We're not going to tell you where, but right now is on a humanitarian mission. Let's talk about the Panthers' lack of wide receivers. Adam Thielen, Deontay Johnson, both out. They are throwing Bryce Young to the Wolves because Denver's pass rush is among the best, if not the best in football, certainly from the defensive end and defensive tackle positions. This doesn't bode well with Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker, Jonathan Mingo, and JT Sanders as the top targets for Bryce Young.
No, Adam, it does not bode well at all. But the thought was once upon a time that those guys would be the future here in Carolina with Bryce Young being the quarterback. But right now, that's the present against a very good Broncos defense on Sunday and a head coach who, clearly has no faith in his quarterback. So I think even with Adam Thielen and with Deontay Johnson, it probably wasn't going to go well, considering we saw how the play calling was week 1, week 2. And again, head coach Dave Canales doesn't believe that Bryce Young can play and can run his offense and they can win with him. And every time he's been asked about Bryce Young, give it a chance to say anything nice about Bryce, he only mentions, this is about Andy Dalton, it's about the team, and that's what I'm focused on.
Yeah, you and I are on the absolute same page when it comes to that. That it's been disappointing, and I might even go a step further in that I believe that Dave Canales decided he was going to prove that Bryce Young couldn't play rather than try to get him to the point where he could. And now he has to play, and they're going up against the wrong team with the state of their own offensive line when it comes to pass blocking. And the truth is that even with Andy Dalton and the fact that Chuba Hubbard has been so good running the ball, they have refused to really lean into the keep pounding mantra that this franchise has been about for like 2 decades. But that's the only method. That's the only path forward in this particular game. If they can't establish the run and stick to it, this is going to get ugly.
Yeah, the thing about the NFL compared to like college, it's already going to be a low possession game anyways because the clock is always running. So that's kind of what you want to do is just bleed the clock, try to have some 9-10-minute drives that they can be able to stay on the field. And Chuba Hubbard, he's been outstanding so far this season. He's leading NFL rushers who at least have 50 attempts this season in rushing success rate at 62%, which means 62% of his rushing attempts. Like if it's first down, he's getting 5 yards. If it's 3rd and 2, he's getting the first down. So he's been really good for them this year. I don't really know what you can expect out of the passing game just based off of, yes, it's Bryce Young playing there again. He looked terrible week 1 and week 2. Deontay Johnson not out there. Adam Thielen's not going to be out there. Is Moton going to play, Adam? I haven't seen whether he's available or not. Is he coming back?
I believe he is coming back. Their offensive line And again, run blocking is their strength. The offensive line appears to be as healthy as they have been. I don't think we're going to see Austin Corbett. I think we're going to see Brady Christensen again.
He's done. But if Moton's playing, that's positive because I don't know how much you read into like PFF, but their rankings last week, Josh Nijman, who's been filling in the last 2 weeks at right tackle, really the last 2.5 weeks, he was the lowest graded player on offense last week. While Brady Christensen has been among the top graded guys the last couple of weeks since filling in for Austin Corbett, which is honestly long term, that could be great news. For both Brady and the Panthers, as they need to figure out who's going to be their center. It could be the guy they drafted out of BYU a couple years ago in Christensen. Maybe they go back to Corbett, or he gets an opportunity outside of Carolina as he's been bouncing around at offensive line, going to be a free agent, which kind of makes it tough for guys like him. So if they're able to run the ball, which they have been able to, but I'm feeling like Denver's going to sell against the run, and their pass defense also is one of the best in the league. They're number 2 pass defense according to EPA, expected points added. Pat Surtain's missed the last couple of weeks with a concussion. He's back out there on Sunday. He's been outstanding, of course. I'm sure there'll be a Panther fan or two on Sunday. They're going to compare Pat Surtain to J.C. Horn, as fans, of course, took Horn there before him back in 2021, because we can never let go of the past, Adam. But yeah, it's gonna come down to run the ball, and it's always been a line of scrimmage game. I know people like to focus on who's the quarterback, who the receivers are, or yada yada yada. Nah, man, can you move the guy up front? And can you run the ball? Can you play ball control? Like, that's how the Panthers can win on Sunday. And I want to see if Dave Canales has it in him as a play caller, because this is the game where you kind of earn your contract here. You're missing the top 2 receivers. You have Bryce Young in there. Find a way to win, because we see some of the best play callers in the NFL. We saw Malik Willis play in Tennessee. He was unplayable. But he gets to Green Bay. They lean on the run game. And Matt LaFleur is an excellent play caller, and they win both of those games with Malik Willis, and people were probably counting out the Packers. So, Dave Canales, let's see it, man. You don't believe in the quarterback. Apparently you got this job because of what you did wizardry-wise with Baker Mayfield and Geno Smith. Let's see you do it on Sunday. Go out there and earn your money.
Yeah, no, you and I are in total agreement about what they should do with their offense. I'll just throw another example. The Pittsburgh Steelers won, plenty of games with Justin Fields and his inability to throw the ball down the field. And they don't have a great running. The funny thing is that with Fields, who's a runner more than he is a passer at this point, they didn't have a great running game. Najee Harris wasn't as effective with Justin Fields. They bring Russell Wilson to the occasion into the mix, who can throw the ball down the field. And in the last 3 quarters of that game, it unlocked Najee Harris. He was better with Russell Wilson at quarterback than he was with when you change the math and you introduce the quarterback into the run game. It's supposed to make it better for the running back, but it didn't. It made it was better when Russell Wilson was the quarterback, even though Russ, man, that first quarter was terrible, and people had already thrown dirt on him. And I was watching Twitter during that game, and people had already decided that Justin Fields was better. And then in the next 3 quarters, they went, maybe Russ is okay.
Maybe people don't know as much about football as Mike Tomlin. I love that happens every single day where there's football going on, where early on in the game, Twitter is doing what Twitter does and like aghast at what's happening and just acting like they've never seen a football game where it's 60 minutes, y'all. Things can change.
Yeah.
Maybe give it some time.
No question about it. And Tomlin he had this giant smile on his face all game. And then after the game, he dropped "This is why I'm highly compensated," which is just the absolute best.
Bar.
I am such a big fan of Mike Tomlin. All right, so
who wanted to fire Mike Tomlin that one time? David Tepper. Let's never forget that.
Oh, he was the guy who wanted to fire Mike Tomlin?
Oh, yeah. He was a part of the small group in Pittsburgh that wanted Mike Tomlin, the guy who's won a Super Bowl and never had a losing season, to be removed.
Guy's a Hall of Fame coach. Yeah, I would want him removed as well. Yeah. I've said this before as a former Jets fan. I will go back if Mike Tomlin ever ends up as the Jets head coach. I will jump right in. Yeah, no, Mike is, but I don't think he's ever going to. I mean, he's going to stay at Pittsburgh for I don't know how many more years. Stay there as long as he wants. Yeah. I don't think they're getting rid of him. Stay there.
Absolutely.
Stay there as long as he wants. All right. So defensively, Jadeveon Clowney comes back. What are the chances that a defense that is really bad against the run can show something against the Denver team that really can't throw it?
No, that's the thing. Denver isn't a good offense. Now, when the Panthers played the Bears a couple weeks ago, Chicago hadn't been a great offense up until that point. They had found some rhythm the week before, and that, of course, carried over against the Panthers defense, which is one of the worst in the league, as we know. But the Broncos, they are 30th when it comes to third down conversion rate on offense. They're also 31st in the red zone. Now, the Panthers aren't great in the red zone. They have actually improved from being the worst to only the 5th worst in the last couple of weeks. But there's opportunity where if they get Bo Nix into some of these long down and distances, and this is not a team that obviously has gotten after the passer. They're worse in the NFL in pressure percentage, according to Pro Football Reference. They only have 7 sacks, which is second worst in the NFL. Only Atlanta has less. If they can get him in some third down and long situations, don't blitz. I know they've tried to blitz a lot. Joe Rivera, the DC has. Stay back, try to disguise some coverages, and get this guy to really think. This isn't Bo Nix who's out here having the kind of season like Jaden Daniels is having and the kind of season Caleb Williams is having so far. This is somebody who, as we saw at Auburn and at Oregon, is susceptible to making some mistakes in the passing game and did that early on against Seattle, I believe, in week 1 or 2. So if they can confuse him, that's their key to victory also on defense. It's getting him third and longs, and obviously going to stop the run on early downs. Denver's had 5 straight games of over 100 yards rushing. Javonte Williams, North Carolina products, look pretty good the last couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. But if they can find a way to load it up, get them to third and long, try to confuse his quarterback, that's the chance on defense. Low possession games on offense as far as holding the ball on the ball, running it, and then defensively, just got to get third down, find a way to confuse Bo Nix, and who knows? Maybe they'll shock the world. Yeah. I would certainly be shocked.
Yeah, you need turnovers and some good fortune to win this game. Man, again, Denver's not a great team, so when you're not a great team, you can lose to anybody. But
Absolutely.
I'm not sure the Panthers necessarily qualify as anybody at this point. All right, final thing for Julian Council, and we're going to leave the humanitarian mission that he is on the cutting room floor. But let me just, I know we're about a week away from the trade deadline. With Deontay Johnson's injury and Adam Thielen's injury, Thielen was hopefully going to come back, and they decided, he worked the last couple of days, and they decided he couldn't go. Johnson picked up the rib injury in practice, so hopefully he'll be okay. Do you see both of those guys being here after the deadline?
No, I don't think both will be here. It's certainly possible one of them will be here, but are we sure that these aren't just the kind of injuries where the deadline's coming up and the team's like, okay, well, let's hold these guys out because we can't get them hurt. We need to find a way to ship them out next week. That's kind of what it feels like. At least a part of it has to be that in their minds. I know Dave Canales doesn't want to talk about hypotheticals because, there's a ton of things hypothetically you think about as a head coach, but I guess he doesn't want to talk about that when asked about it. But yeah, I have a hard time seeing those guys around. With Jonathan Brooks coming back too, you have to wonder whether Miles Sanders could shift off. It's not like he's had much of a role this year, and he lost his role week 7 of last season after they paid him all that money, which is again why you don't pay running backs for all the folks who want to pay Chuba Hubbard. And then Jonathan Mingo is going to get an opportunity. All right, show something and see if another team wants to be suckered into trading for you. Can't imagine they get anything more than a 7th round pick, as he has not been impressive at all. But I can't see that both Adam Thielen and Deontay Johnson will be here next Sunday when they play the Saints at home. I would think Johnson's probably the one that has the better market. I don't know how much he's improved it, honestly, this season, as he's had a couple good games. The rest of them, he's looked fairly disinterested, on Sunday up there in D.C., where he just broke off his route and ended up as an interception. Another thing that Dave Canales refused to talk about, even though it's clear as day. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't think both will be around. Thielen maybe could help a contender. I don't know how he's viewed across the league. He is 34. He has 1 year left. There's an out in his contract. So a team would have to kind of figure that out with him. But he's unlikely to be here in Carolina next year anyways. I just feel like those are the guys to look at. And I don't know, maybe Bryce Young. Maybe he'll be shipped off as well. And I'm sure his value won't be improved on Sunday based off of how things are likely to go.
Right, and it just seems like if your theory is right that they're holding Johnson and Thielen out and taking no chances based on injuries incurred that they could play with, but we'd rather not to preserve their value. They are simply jettisoning this game as any chance to show Bryce, to give him any chance. They should put him in those big, between innings at Durham Bulls games where they have the sumo wrestling where they bounce into each other.
Yeah,
they should put Bryce Young in one of those outfits for this game.
Well, this will be another example where Dave Canales be like, guys, stop asking me about Bryce Young. We gave him 5 weeks to come back. He didn't play well. And he's like, let's not even talk about context. Got to talk about the guys who are in there. That will be basically his messaging that he won't say directly, but it will be made abundantly clear, like that's how he feels. So we'll see. Best of luck to Bryce. I really hope it works out for him, honestly. And I hope it works out for, obviously, all the Panther fans out there, because the last thing you want to do is waste another Sunday watching a terrible offensive performance. Now, you could always choose not to watch the game. I encourage you to at least listen to Locked On Panthers and Adam Gold if you don't want to watch the game. But we'll see how it works out on Sunday. I really am putting this on Dave Canales, because, like, you're a play caller. We've already seen examples this season where teams have found a way to win games with the not great circumstances. Are you good enough to do it? We'll see.
You're the best, man. I'm telling you. I've had this big smile on my face listening to you for the last 13 minutes, man. Have fun tomorrow, even though it might not be possible.
No, it's not going to be fun. I'm in Charlottesville, by the way, folks. That's why he's saying he doesn't want to mention where I'm at. I am dying hard. Have been for the last 31 years in North Carolina football. And hey, John Summerall at Tulane, if you're listening, please, I beg you to come here.
Oh wow. Already has the antenna up. Julian Council, Locked On Panthers podcast at Julian Council on Twitter. Thanks, man. I'll have fun. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Adam.
So he's on a humanitarian mission with North Carolina, who doesn't generally play well in Charlottesville. And on top of that, North Carolina is not really all that good. Virginia is an improving football team. I mean, they have shown that maybe Tony Elliott is turning the corner in Charlottesville. It does appear that they're kind of playing out the string at UNC. I mean, there was no more UNC football-y way to lose to Georgia Tech than allowing that long touchdown run when they were just running the ball to get to overtime. I don't even understand how that becomes a touchdown. But, again, if you are a North Carolina football fan, you went, yep, that's par right there. But hopefully North Carolina can show something at the end of the season. Maybe they'll do it at the end of the year against NC State. Maybe that will be the game where North Carolina, it'll be their Super Bowl, if you will, and they'll beat the Wolfpack, and who knows. But it's been a very, very rough go, really, for both teams. You know, State. Now we've talked about the retirement of Grayson McCall. What we didn't talk about was the fact that C.J. Bailey has really looked like, man, he's got the future. Now it's up to State to make sure that he is the future. And that means making sure somebody else doesn't entice him to go there. That is important for NC State. All right, we'll stretch when we come back. We will place bets. The third hour will feature the Adam Gold Show Roundtable, and we had a tie, an all-time record point total last week. We don't keep score. Mike Felder and Cory Smith were so good, we're bringing them back for an encore performance.
Yeah, part 2.
Exactly. So that's next hour, but we'll stretch and place bets next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Real quick, raise your hand if you want to lose an additional 4 bands a year. Go ahead and put your hands up. Put your hands up. You voted for Kamala Harris. Oh, okay, my fault. Good, because I don't think people understand that voting for Trump means you will lose an additional $4,000 to $5,000 a year. If Trump is elected, he plans to add a 60% tariff on all imports from China. Anything in your house that says made in China, take the price that you paid for and add 60%. He plans to add a 20% tariff on all imports coming from every other country. With Kamala Harris's opportunity economy, she's not hitting you with the sales tax of doom. She's providing tax cuts to the middle and working class, so that means you will save an additional $4,000 to $5,000 a year. Plus the $25,000 she's literally handing to new homebuyers. Like, you know who to vote for in this November's election. It's Kamala Harris. Paid for by FFPAC, ffpac.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FFPAC is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, as we wrap up Week 7 of the NFL. Ravens at the Buccaneers should be a blast, and new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win the wager on tonight's game. Lamar Jackson will do something spectacular. That would be an easy win if you could bet that. So go to FanDuel.com/AGS and make every moment more this season with FanDuel. That's FanDuel.com/AGS. For FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. FanDuel, have fun. It's football. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
As fall championships begin, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling home from today's events. Whether you're driving out of town or across town this holiday season, wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. During the busiest time of travel, prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. And remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Hello there, it's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rec to request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we've got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
This is Adam Gold.
And I did have to use two screens at one point, or a couple of points, and I don't like it. I can't watch two games at the same time.
A lot going on.
I'm sorry, I'm incapable of doing that. Because there were times where, I forgot this other game was on in front of me.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. We will place bets in a matter of moments. I was right about the Panthers at the Garden in New York, the game I picked on Tuesday, I guess maybe it was Wednesday, that wasn't played until yesterday. But I was right about it. I got the Devils wrong yesterday. Sharks also didn't win. But I also got the Rams. So I was right there. So there you go. All right, let's stretch.
Okay, well, I don't know if you ever have any interest in this, or your wife, because I know she likes spooky things too, spooky season.
She likes Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there was a new poll out asking people whether they would be willing to buy a house that was also a murder scene. So,
a murder scene? What? That's different.
Yeah. Yes. And it's probably not surprised. People wouldn't be surprised to see this, but about 30% said they would not have a problem buying a house that someone was murdered in.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, you never know. I think it also maybe depends on the circumstances, and it depends if you believe, because this also was asking people about whether they believe in stuff like that. Younger adults are more hesitant about living in a home where something like that happened, especially women. So I guess men are more like, we'll roll with it.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
It's sort of like, have you seen The World According to Garp?
No.
Right? They buy the house after a plane crashes into it.
Oh, yikes.
Because, that'll never happen again.
Right, exactly.
Good logic.
Well, and that's also they're having to rebuild a new house because if a plane hit it,
good logic.
There's not much left. Yeah, and also in this market, if you find the one that you like, then you're probably more willing to be like, maybe we should sage it. But that leads to the next study that I read about. And do you even believe houses can be haunted? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe?
No.
Well, that would
I'm
be
sorry,
on brand.
I just can't. I can't wrap my brain around that.
That would be on brand because in this recent article, people were saying women are more likely to believe that houses can be haunted just from like personal experiences that they've maybe had, like creepy experiences. And 19% of those women say they've claimed that they've lived in one. But this overall poll says about 16% say they have lived in a haunted house.
No.
Which, as a kid, it's always fun to kind of think, oh, that place is haunted. There was an old abandoned school in my neighborhood, and we all used to say we could see ghosts in the window. You're just kids playing with it. But if you worry about whether you think houses are haunted, most people don't think so. But it is fun to imagine, I guess, when spooky season's going on. So I don't know. If you ever wonder and you have a spouse that thinks it's haunted, just tell them about this poll and say, that's not a real thing. People don't believe that. Now, one thing that might be a real thing in New York City here coming up soon. We have sick days. You know how you have in PTO, you've got sick days that are kind of thrown in there. Well, now New York City might adopt a law where you can take sick days for your pets. So there is that.
It follows in the same pattern as paid family leave.
I like that idea. I mean, we have like when Biff has to go to the vet, it's a whole day. I mean,
well, this is true. I'm fairly certain because I was allowed to take a sick day when my son was sick. So yeah, if my dog, if Earl, I don't know if he's got an issue.
Yes.
If he's got the sniffles.
Yeah. Exactly.
Then,
I didn't realize they were this strict in New York, but this new amendment would allow anyone to use sick days to take care of their pets because as of right now, I guess you can only use a sick day for you or someone in your family. So I don't know if
pets
they're
are
super
part of the family.
Exactly, and that's what they're saying. Pets are part of the family, so I don't know if you still need to bring a note into work, like when you have the sniffles. I don't know if we're 5, but okay.
My dog had a cough.
Exactly. So, yeah, here's his Apiquil bill. I don't know. Who knows? But if you're in New York or going there, they're going to maybe be a little more lenient. We should have pet days. I would love to bring Biff in. But you know what else I would love? To make some good picks.
Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right. Start us off there, Victoria.
This is a toughie for me because there's UFC 308 this weekend. And I never encourage anyone to do this. I'm going to pick with my heart.
Oh, no.
It's a terrible idea.
That
However, the main event for this is going to be Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. Max Holloway just had this amazing fight with Justin Gaethje where he knocked him out in the final seconds. I mean, these dudes are warriors. Max Holloway is a warrior. He is a vet. He's no stranger to putting it down in the octagon. He is a huge underdog in this, and he's defending a title. I don't know why you would do this to Max Holloway. I know Ilia is like the new hot thing, but it's Max Holloway. So give me the underdog. I'm breaking my own heart right now. It's plus 205, but give me him to win.
All right, I'm going to start with the World Series. I'm going to give you a couple of things that I like. First of all, Dodgers to win the World Series in 6, plus 420.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like it.
Pretty good value. Dodgers in 6. Also, Mookie Betts to be named the most valuable player at plus 750.
Oh.
If you think he's going to lead the series in home runs, it's plus 1,400. I kind of like that too, but we can't do everything.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well,
Dodgers in 6 plus 420.
So, I don't really want to pick this one either because it's also my heart that I'm breaking. The Carolina Panthers are going to be in Denver taking on the Broncos. It is going to be the ugliest of ugly with no Adam Thielen or Deontay Johnson, and Bryce Young is back in. So,
take the under.
Give me the Broncos. I know, and the under, so it's set at 40.5.
Gosh.
I think... I know,
How are
right?
they ever going to... They'd have to play 6 quarters to get to 40.
Seriously. So I'm going to take the under 40.5 and the Broncos, and that's plus 120, basically. But, yeah, I also think, 30 of those points are going to be Broncos.
It could. It all depends on the turnovers, but,
Yeah.
neither offense is going to generate anything.
No.
All right. I'll do my NFL pick in a minute. We have one college game we're going to do. Duke's pretty good. They are at home, and they are a double-digit underdog at home. Outright winner. Blue Devils plus 340 at home.
Oh.
Outright winner.
Oh, nice.
Get out of here, SMU.
Manny Diaz and
Go
company.
back to Dallas.
Exactly. So my last one, the Tennessee Titans are taking on the kneecap biter Detroit Lions. And I love Dan Campbell and company. So give me the Lions to win this one. I'm going with the over because I think both teams are going to score in this one. And that is set at 45.5. So give me the Lions and over 45.5. That's plus 110.
Must win for the Jets in New England. We all agree, right? Must win. Season's over. If they don't win, Patriots win plus 270. I want chaos.
With Adams and everything there,
too. Oh, my
too.
gosh. He can yell at him again.
Give another speech at the
after
locker
they lose,
room.
Garrett Wilson will drop another pass. I have a bonus pick, and this is probably a bad idea.
Okay.
But I'm going to do it anyway.
Right.
I mentioned yesterday my love of European football.
Yes.
So my side, Liverpool, has their most difficult test of the year. They are right now top of the Premier League. And they are going to the Emirates to take on Arsenal, who I believe, when healthy, is the best team. I think they've got everything when they are healthy. They are not healthy. They're missing a center back. They're missing their top midfielder. They're very possibly missing Bukayo Saka on the right. Liverpool is not 100% healthy. They've got some guys missing too. But Liverpool goes to the Emirates, pulls off the win. 2-1 Liverpool plus 190. And I will be smiling like crazy on Monday when you see me next. That's the pick. All right. No, I'm looking forward to the best World Series matchup we've ever had. I really am.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
It's fire sale time for the Panthers. This season is a wash, so go ahead and look at your roster. Pick your untradables. Maybe J.C. Horn, Derek Brown, some of the rookies. Everybody else, put up the for sale sign. Move some closer to the street at the garage sale so everybody knows their price to move. But you have to start thinking about the future. This season's a wash.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. So many of you have told me about your plans for the future. Starting a business, buying a home, retiring near your grandchildren. But prices are too high. So let me tell you what I will do about it as president. I will take on price gouging. I will lower the cost of healthcare insurance. We cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. I'm running to do that for everyone. And I will provide new down payment assistance to first-time home buyers and tax benefits to people who want to start their own business. Donald Trump, well, he wants to give more tax breaks to the wealthy, whereas I will cut taxes for the middle class instead. Because I know working people want to do more than just get by. You want to get ahead, and that's the future you deserve. And that is what I will focus on every day as your president. Paid for by Harris for President.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling. We do the job right every time.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling is celebrating 51 years of trusted service. And to celebrate, get a furnace tune-up for just $51. That's peace of mind heating for only $51. Visit MitchellHVAC.com. Mitchell Heating and Cooling. Quality products and services on time from a family you trust. It's hard to stop a train.
The best solutions every time.
$5, that's a deal, yeah. McDonald's money, I got McDonald's money. One meal just to make me feel better. All I wanna know is, can I get a hot and spicy patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow, yeah, McDonald's don't miss, yeah. Order on the app or the drive-thru quick, yeah. $5, that's some deal, yeah. McDonald's money, I got McDonald's money.
At participating McDonald's.
Whether it's the future of college football or my love for the Ryder Cup, it's all found in the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast, brought to you by Coach Pete at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair's gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score!
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Here's the snap. Deep drop. The Blue Devils get in there, and they sack him. Oh, he throws it back to Toffoli. He's trying to escape. Anthony's got him, and it's night-night for the Seminoles. 53 seconds to go. Up 23-16. The Blue Devils are about to get their first win over Florida State. They almost had the sack on Glenn. Desperation. He back to Toffoli. The Blue Devils stayed after it and got him down as well.
Blue Devils are hoping to see more of that against SMU on Saturday. Night game at Wallace Wade Stadium. It's a big game in the Mountain West tonight. UNLV and Boise State. Boise State with a Heisman Trophy candidate at running back and trying to make a case for that group of 5 spot in the college football playoff. We'll talk college football and other things with Mike Felder and Cory Smith, last week's panelists in the Roundtable. They are back because it was rip-roaringly good, so we will do that one more time. We have some other things to do first in the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
Game 1 tonight. Garrett Cole, John Flaherty. John Flaherty? Jack Flaherty? Joe Flaherty. I don't know.
One of the J's.
Flaherty for the Dodgers.
It's really good.
If it's John, it could be Jack too. You don't know.
Could be.
Right? They used to call John Kennedy Jack Kennedy.
Yeah.
My son Jack's name is Jack. It's not John.
Yeah, it's not John.
All right. Game 1 tonight in Dodger Stadium, at Dodger Stadium, Yankees and Dodgers. Carl Ravitch from ESPN will have the radio call, I believe. More pressure on Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani?
I think it is Judge. I think it is Aaron for the Yankees, really because of Juan Soto. I think there's going to be way more focus on Aaron Judge as trying to get him out because of what Soto did in that last series. Judge has been brutal, and yet here's one silver lining, and this is one of the storylines. A lot of these guys are from California. Judge is going home. His weighted runs created plus is second highest against the Dodgers. He's got like a 389 average in 41 games. It's a small sample size. It's not nothing. He's got a bunch of homers.
He does. That's basically what he did in the series against Cleveland. He had 2 home runs. Judge had 3 hits. 2 of them were home runs. That's largely been his postseason so far this year, and he didn't come in with any good postseason credentials. 5 for 31. That's under 100. 5 for 31. 6 for 30 is 200. 5 for 31 is about 180. 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in. He didn't really do anything. He was 2 for 13 in the series over Kansas City. Soto has been the Yankees' best hitter. Best player, to be honest. 7 for 19 in the last series, 3 home runs, 6 runs batted in. He hit the home run in the division series, right? That knocked out Kansas City. If not, he hit a big home run to beat Cleveland in one of the early games of the American League Championship Series. Giancarlo Stanton, I apologize. I called him Mike for it. That's what he came into the league. He was Mike Stanton. Giancarlo Stanton has 10 hits in the postseason this year, and 5 of them are home runs. And he's had a very good postseason as well. Ohtani and Betts and Max Muncy had great National League Championship Series. Tommy Edman, the shortstop, came out of nowhere, had 11 runs batted in last series. 11 runs batted in. He had last year, he basically played a full season and drove in like 47 runs. He had 11 RBI in 6 games against the Mets. Stop it. All right, Jeff Passan, ESPN, on the historical meaning, I guess, of the Dodgers and the Yankees.
Globally, it's a great thing for baseball, but if we're just looking domestically, if we're just looking at the state of Major League Baseball right now, how could you have it a whole lot better than the Yankees and the Dodgers? How can you have it any better than Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani? These are the 2 best players in the game. They are going to win the MVP awards in the American and National League this year. The first time that we have seen 2 MVPs play in the World Series since 2012, and both of them are trying to win their first ring because they are playing in their first World Series. Now, Ohtani won a Japan Series in 2016. He won the World Baseball Classic. He's got some hardware. Aaron Judge has bowed out of the playoffs in 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. And he is looking to help take the Yankees finally to their 28th championship.
And historically speaking, the only World Series that these 2 teams have played in against one another that would even come close to the star power we have here would, I believe, be the 1955 World Series. To me, that was really one of the heydays of the Yankees and one of the heyday of the Brooklyn Dodgers. And it was probably a more star-studded Dodgers team in 55 than it was a Yankees team in 55. The early run of the Yankees in the 50s was probably a lot better, right? But the 55 Dodgers team, historically great with Campanella and Snyder and Ferrillo and Gil Hodges. The pitching that they had was better. And I think that's where these 2 teams, in terms of star power, and I've read a lot about this lately, we don't have as many star pitchers today. So a few years ago, we would have a Max Scherzer and a Justin Verlander in the series. The closest thing we have to a star pitcher, we have good pitchers, but I'm talking about star pitchers. The closest thing we have to a star is Garrett Cole of the Yankees. Nobody the Dodgers are throwing as a starter. whether it's Flaherty, Yamamoto, Buehler, they're varying degrees of good to great pitchers, but they're not stars. Cole is the closest thing to a star. Carlos Rodon, I would put in the category of excellent pitcher, and he'll go in game 2. Shouts to Holly Springs High School and NC State. We shouted out to Clayton High School and UNC Wilmington. Carlos Rodon will go in game 2 tomorrow night. So that, to me, that's the only thing missing here is star-level starting pitching. But you do have, and I will push back on what Jeff Passan said, I think Juan Soto is a better all-around player than Aaron Judge. Judge is a wickedly good hitter, even with his postseason struggles. He is an incredible hitter and a great face of the game. Ohtani, Soto is a phenomenal ball player. And you probably have, and I said this earlier, 4 of the best 5 players in the sport. 2 for each side. Ohtani and Betts for the Dodgers, Judge and Soto for the Yankees. Baseball is lucky to have gotten this. Here's the thing. I do wonder if there will be a pushback in terms of the rest of the country other than those in Los Angeles and New York checking out. Now, there are plenty of Yankee fans all over the place. There are plenty of Dodgers fans all over the place. So you're going to have national numbers be high, but baseball's television ratings for the playoffs have been through the roof for them. My fear is that they'll be good, they'll be better than we've seen, but they won't reach the levels we have seen from the first 3 rounds, from wild card, division, and LCS rounds, because I think there will be a number of people who will go, who wants to see the Yankees or the Dodgers again? Totally understand it. But for the 12th time, we have the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series. All right, one thing from last night's football game. Remember all the talk about the Rams potentially trading Cooper Kupp?
Yep.
Or even Matthew Stafford?
Right.
They went and won. They could win that division.
Big time.
It's there for them. Sean McVay, the Rams head coach, on the win.
What a great team win against an excellent opponent. Our guys were ready to go tonight. I was really pleased. I thought Matthew Stafford was outstanding. Congratulations to him for going top 10 all-time completions now, surpassing Dan Marino all-time for 9th. You know, our offensive line was really good. I thought they did a great job being able to get removal. I thought their protection was outstanding. Kyron always plays so tough. And then it was so great having Puka and Cooper back. You know, there's an energy, there's a spark. Thought the defense fed off of those guys. They did a good job offensively coming out, getting 2 scoring drives, but then I thought we settled in. We were able to get pressure on Darnold. We knocked out the run. And then for us to be able to close it out with a safety, awesome job. But we've got to continue to get this going. And today was a real positive, but it's one game. But really happy for those guys, and it'll make for a little bit more enjoyable birthday for my son Jordan on his first birthday. How about that, huh?
I did not anticipate that.
First of all, your 1-year-old son, Jordan, doesn't care about the outcome. Secondly, what I love about Sean McVay, I don't know who he's talking to there.
I don't know either.
At first, it sounded like he was talking to the locker room, but no.
No.
He was clearly talking, it must have been the press conference.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Sean McVay,
and
man, he exudes Red Bull.
Yeah, exactly.
He sweats Celsius.
But you could totally see a 180 with Puka and Cooper out there. Like total 180 with the Rams.
I'll take your word for it. Watching the Hurricanes. All right. We break. We come back. Michael Felder and Cory Smith as we get ready for the Roundtable next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Move your sports day forward.
The one thing that nobody thought the Duke Blue Devils would do this year came true, and that's become bowl eligible. They're the first team in North Carolina to become bowl eligible.
And they did it against Florida State. Who would have had that in their preseason bingo card?
And the Blue Devils did it against Florida State. The first win ever.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
The NBA is finally back. A new season means new ways to get into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards and grabbing the rebounds? Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. First time? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Every point counts with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD with no spaces for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season, and that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great, it's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Everything for the exterior of your home, but it's also everything for the peace of mind of the customer. Talk to me about the trust factor and everything else that you guys offer.
I got to tell you, I think one of the biggest things for us is we don't take any payment from you for any of your home improvement needs until we're done with the project. I hear stories all the time about people putting down deposits with companies, 25, 50% of the project total overall, and they don't even know, they don't show up.
Right.
You've lost whatever percentage you put down, that's how much power you lost already. Right?
Right.
So with us, you pay nothing until we're done. Typically we're not the least expensive, and we're certainly not the most expensive. You get 3 or 4 estimates, we're going to fall right there in the middle. But, you're going to have a warranty that's lifetime, transferable for 10 years on any of the products we sell typically. And we've been around since 1961. You can trust us. We've been around forever.
It is about trust. And I think you guys are the most trustworthy business that I know. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
This is Adam Gold.
Maybe at some point after repeated losing, David Tepper will get out of the way.
Yeah, it's going to be on my Christmas list every year until it happens. So, there.
I wish I could give you that.
I wish I
could put a bow around that.
Oh,
for you,
me too.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. The Roundtable in a matter of moments. Last week we had Michael Felder at In the Bleachers. It's Felder the Substack. Must be download. You must get to it. You must subscribe to it. Also SiriusXM. Cory Smith, Pack Pride. We are locked and loaded. Let's play the music.
Camelot. It's only a model.
When
Man, our returning champions, it was a tie. Cory Smith, Pack Pride, and Mike Felder. It's Felder, the Substack. Get it. Football, food, and life lessons. All of that. I didn't know Cory was going to be on video. I was told Cory was going to be on the phone.
I know. It was a last-minute switch up.
We have beautiful, smiling faces. Excellent. All right. I didn't want to start with serious stuff, but let's just start with serious stuff and get it out of the way, and then we'll have some fun. So I'm going to start with you, Cory. Grayson McCall's decision to retire from football, I think, is an incredibly mature decision. It takes – obviously he was told by doctors, family members, that this was, for him, the best path forward to go as far as he can to guaranteeing a normal, healthy, long life. But just your thoughts on the injury to McCall and the decision.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a tough one because you can tell, like, if you haven't read the memo or the note that he put out there on Instagram, it was clearly a very difficult decision for him to make, and one that he said, it's an injury I can't recover from, essentially. Right. And, as much as he wanted to come back to football, and I think it was, in his best interest to probably never play football again, but again, having to come to terms with that, something that he's loved for his entire life. And, he posted pictures of him playing when he was like 10, 11 years old. Yeah. And it's a really tough decision to make. But yeah, as far as the rest of life thing here, that discussion, you don't want him to make a decision where he's going to have to return and leads to further injury for him.
Mike, you played for a long time, probably played football from a very young age. So I'm sure you've had a concussion in your life. Can you put yourself in that position of setting aside your life's dreams because of an injury like this?
I think it's an interesting kind of discussion to have, and I've had it with players who didn't play quarterback, and I think that's something that's very interesting to me. Is same thing with Tua Tagovailoa, where people are calling for him to quit. Obviously, Grayson McCall, who we're talking about right now, and so it is a very. I think there's a position-specific way to discuss this, and I don't think that we do a really good job of it. But when quarterbacks get hit, it looks worse. When quarterbacks are hurt, it looks worse. When if you talk to an offensive lineman, like you mentioned off the rip that, I played football, I probably have had, a concussion. I was like, a concussion. Okay. But it's one of those things. My wife is worried about me constantly. And and Cory, you spoke to quality of life. Like, yeah, absolutely. Like, that's one of those things with respect to short-term memory. Like, he's lucky though. He is lucky. And this is what I'll say this about him. I'll say it about Tua. I'll say it about anyone that plays quarterback. Steve Young, doesn't matter. Yes, you get concussed. Yes, you do take big hits, but what you don't have on a play-to-play basis, and I'm not just talking about football games, I'm talking about in practice. What you don't have are those subconcussive blows that lead to what ultimately really do lead to CTE. And I think we have to change the way that we look at football, because it's not just the hit that looks the worst on television to someone, whether they're playing fantasy or just rooting for their team. It's a lot of those every play in practice for a center, for a guard, for a tackle, for a defensive tackle. Those are the things that add up. And ultimately, which is why we end up with guys like Junior Seau, Mike Webster. And I just wish we could reframe the narrative without centering the quarterback, but still being empathetic and sympathetic to the quarterback position. All right,
I'm going to bring up Tua here in a second. I've been saying this for a long time. Calling them concussions is, and I'm not trying to be political here, is both sidesing an obvious issue, right? To me, why not call them what they are? They're brain injuries.
Yeah, TBIs.
Right? I mean, if somebody's on the injury report with a knee, it's a knee injury. If it's a concussion, list brain injury. And I think people will treat them differently. I think the general public, because, back in the day, we go back 40 years, guys pretended, hey, Tua Tagovailoa 2 years ago pretended to not have a concussion. He was obviously concussed on the field. So let me forward it to Tua, because when everybody was calling for his retirement, how it was 5 weeks ago, whatever it was, 6 weeks ago, I went, He's not going to retire. Unless he is forced to retire, he will not retire because these guys are wired a different way. And who knows, if Grayson McCall had a pro career staring at him in the face, he might have made a different decision too, because there's only so much you can extract financially from the game. And, Tua is at a point where he's got generational wealth staring at him in the face. And I just don't think he was ever going to make that decision unless, and I'll let you start with this, Mike, unless he was forced to.
Yeah, there's forced to. It's also the way that we talk about it. And you mentioned concussion being they're TBIs, right? Traumatic brain injuries.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality. But instead of saying someone has a concussion, they say they go into concussion protocol so that they can easily come out of concussion protocol if that serves the team and they feel like they want to do that. So that's the other part of it where none of this is, they keep saying it's for player safety, but to me, when I watch, it's for what looks bad, what looks the worst. And then at the end of the day, you got to have your own doctor make a decision or help you make a decision, which is what we're seeing in the case of Grayson McCall. So it's one of those things that's going to be really interesting to see moving forward, how this all shakes itself out. With respect to Tua, no, he wasn't going to, no. Absolutely not. And
it just was. And the Dolphins need him. So the Dolphins aren't even worried about protecting him. The Dolphins are trying to win football games. And the other two quarterbacks they had can't help them do that. Let me forward this conversation back to NC State for Cory. CJ Bailey's played, whatever I just tried to say, played. I made that a two-syllable word. That's terrible. He's played very well. And they didn't turn it over in the win over Cal. So let me just say this out loud. I'm hoping that NC State can keep CJ Bailey. Do you have any qualms about that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting one because here's the thing. I mean, and it's already being talked about with Pitt too, with Eli as well, with hosting. I mean, the fact that hey, you got to keep these guys out of the transfer portal as well. And I think the positive thing for NC State is seeing the trust that they're putting in him, seeing the development that he's going through this season already. Yes, there's going to be other teams that are probably going to call. The big thing for NC State is making it a priority that he's growing in your system and you're keeping things, light and, at the same time he's showing growth. And I think that's the biggest thing so far this season for him. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough to try to keep him this offseason. But at the same time, as far as the progression that he's made, as far as what you're seeing from him, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I know obviously freshman of the year in the ACC is open to any freshman, but there are true freshman of the year awards, like 24/7 Sports does true freshman team All-Americans. He's kind of on track for that. I mean, as far as the quarterback position, obviously, like I said, Hosteen has been brilliant. And there's some redshirt freshmen across the country that have been really good so far this season. Especially with the way Dylan Raiola has kind of, gone, I don't know. I mean, I guess not gone off the rails necessarily, but just had a 3 interception game. Yeah, he's not looking great. So if Bailey continues on the track that he is, I mean, he's already, I think, 1 touchdown less than Raiola right now in terms of passing game and has less interceptions than him, has, I think, around the same amount of yardage. So, he's on track to being in that discussion. Again, that kind of brings up the discussion of if you get there, how much are teams across the country going to be calling his agents, his NIL people, and saying, hey, we'd love to have you down at, Miami that's losing Cam Ward next year, or say, God forbid, Jalen Milroe goes to the NFL and, you need somebody at Alabama. Those types of teams calling a CJ Bailey would make it tough to turn down.
Yeah, that's that in some ways, not to give Tony Bennett and his decision to retire. I know it's a different sport, but I think that's the kind of thing that drives coaches crazy. Is that it's increasingly more difficult to build continuity in a roster. Now, Virginia generally recruits players that they can kind of build continuity, but I'm sure Tony Bennett has found it more difficult. But
hang on, Gold. Have you seen the zeros on these guys' paychecks?
I would imagine for some of them, it's substantial.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm
good with it. I'm good with it.
Do your job. and do your job.
Oh, the
make
coaches.
Your program,
Right. Okay, yeah.
The coaches. I'm talking about the
You're
coaches.
talking about the players or the coaches here?
No.
The coaches. I'm talking about the coaches. I'm talking about do your job. I don't feel bad for them. And every time there's a clip from Mike Tomlin that he goes, I love coaches that run from coaching. It's your job. Do your job. And I think that for me, with respect to Bailey, the biggest thing for me is, one, make him feel involved. And not just involved like as far as quarterback play and development, but also make him feel involved with picking pieces. If he's going to be your quarterback for the next 3 seasons, make him feel involved. Make him feel involved with the recruiting aspect of it. Make him buy in.
Right.
Make him feel like he is a part of not just the on the field product, not just NIL deal, but also a part of what we're bringing, the vision that we're creating. And I think that goes a long way. And then make sure everybody else feels bought into him too. Like we see programs where there's buy-in or there's payout. And those are two different things.
Yeah.
If a program can pay out, Auburn can pay out all they want. But guess what? Mm-hmm. If you don't got buy-in,
right,
then all of a sudden you're going to be looking for a new head coach soon. And I just think that having CJ also gain weight, but also buy-in, I think that buy-in is huge because you feel like you are a part of the product and you're a part of what you're putting on the field. And I think that through who they recruit, even if they're recruiting people through the portal, right, those guys as well they're gonna have to matter. And that's the part that makes it feel like he's playing like he's part of a family. So, Cory, what is it? One pack, what is the thing? I don't know.
Yeah. One pack, one goal.
And
the thing I'll say, too, to add to that as well, on top of what you're saying, the numbers that he's putting up right now, 300-plus yards in 2 straight games, 2 touchdowns in 2 straight games, those are numbers that, by a true freshman, have not been put up at NC State since Phillip Rivers. That's how far back you're going right now. So, yes, other teams are seeing that, but also, to add to that, maybe the NIL discussions start a little bit early, too. You come to the table and say, hey, based on where things are going, we understand that other teams are going to be calling. We don't want you to even think about that. We want you to know, hey, we're going to have your back for next year, and go ahead and start those discussions so that you don't take the other calls as seriously as you might beforehand.
All right, I don't want to get into this conversation.
Call up Philip, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the thing. An endowment, right? You can call up Phil. You can call up Russ. And I was going to get to Russ before we get out of here. But without getting into the discussion, because we could be here forever. This is where collective bargaining is necessary. Tony Bennett talked about it at his press conference. He's not against the athletes getting everything they can get out of the system. I am in favor of the athletes sharing in the revenue that they help create. I'm all for all of that. Collective bargaining is protection also for the schools. So they can know exactly what the rules are for building and maintaining a roster. Players will still have the freedom to move. They will always have that freedom to move. But there will be rules that go along with it. And right now, you can go anywhere every year. And again, I'm okay with that. But collective bargaining will protect the schools. So let me get to, because since we were sort of halfway there already, Russell Wilson looked pretty doggone good for the last 3 quarters. And have we all moved on from Justin Fields already, Mike?
My dad's a Steelers fan, so I have to kind of pay attention to them at least. And
well, they're good
I don't
now.
think they've moved on from Fields. I think what's happening is we're seeing a veteran quarterback kind of feel more comfortable in an organization, and I think that's huge, right? He was. Let's be fair. He was awful for the Broncos.
Oh, terrible.
Very good for the Seahawks. What do the Seahawks have? Community, structure, and actual culture. What do the Steelers have? Community, structure, culture. And I think that we're going to see him play like he's going to end his day like he's on the back to the tail of his career, but I think he's going to end on a good. He's going to feel good about walking out of that building whenever he's done.
He's on the 16th tee of for those people who play golf. He only got 3 holes left.
Can I add something to that really quickly?
Sure.
You asked what do they have that the Broncos didn't. Another thing I would add to that, they didn't really have playmakers at the Broncos either. Cortland Sutton, I mean, hasn't looked good anywhere outside of maybe a little bit with the Broncos. I mean, you look at the playmakers that are surrounding him, especially in the running game with 2 running backs, Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, and then having George Pickens and a reliable tight end and Pat Freiermuth. Like, they've got pieces around him that I think make him look better too. And then at the same time, like you said, I mean, yes, he's a veteran. He's a guy that comes in there, feels comfortable. I don't know that they're ready to move on from Justin Fields, but this makes Mike Tomlin's life a little bit easier. He doesn't have to go immediately back to Justin Fields. I think that was the concern in doing all this. Is like, all right, if you go to Russell Wilson and he does not look good, you are going to have to figure stuff out because you can't just suddenly bench him right after you put him in as a starter. So I think this makes his job a little bit easier, but at the same time, yeah, Russell Wilson looks really good, especially late in that game. Knocked the rust off a little bit. In spirit of Halloween, knocked the cobwebs off. So yeah, he has a chance to be that Seahawks quarterback that we saw. Maybe doesn't have the same arm strength, but or the same running ability, but he has the decision making and the precision there as far as his accuracy to be able to make a difference for the Steelers as well.
Yeah, his last year in Seattle wasn't great. First year in Denver, he was playing for Nathaniel Hackett, who was awful. And then he was playing for one of the great jerks that has ever coached in the NFL, in Sean Payton, and that couldn't have been any fun for anybody. And Russ probably, I don't know, maybe, and you were right, by the way, the playmakers that they did have in Denver were all hurt. Right, Jerry Jeudy was in and out of the lineup, and Javonte Williams couldn't stay healthy, and they just weren't the same. They didn't have the same quality. But if the offensive line can just continue to progress in Pittsburgh, I wouldn't want to play him. That defense is too doggone good. All right, Felder, one more thing. No. This is good. Bryce Young. We have no Adam Thielen. We have no Deontay Johnson. The offensive line is intact. I'm not sure that's a positive. Denver's defensive line in terms of rushing the passer and stopping the run is pretty good. Are you optimistic about the Panthers' chances in Denver on Sunday?
No.
I think they're throwing this kid. They're throwing this kid to the wolves. I just don't think they care.
Here's the thing. I'm going to do one of two things. This is the 4:00 game or the 1:00 game?
I think it's the 4:00 game because it's in Mountain Time, so it would have to be a 4:00 game. Yeah.
So, well, my kid has her first kind of competitive swim meet at 1, so I was hoping I was going to get out of having to worry about.
Look, swim meets last 8 hours. You're not going to see anything.
No. This is her first time trial swim meet with the new competitive swimming. So she's going to be there for 45 minutes. That's it. In, out. All the U8s are they're going to knock it out, be done, do all 4 strokes, and we're out of here. But no, I do. I was listening to Peyton Manning. I was listening to Tom Brady. Both of them have said similar things and it's the opposite of what we all think about with David Carr. Peyton Manning threw 30-something interceptions his rookie year. Tom Brady didn't get to play until obviously Drew Bledsoe got hurt, and then they were like, you have to do everything.
Yeah.
And I do think that I think there is some merit to not coddling Bryce Young. I do think that there is some merit to that. And if you listen to 2 legends of the game talk about how we dumb the game down and the game, we don't let kids make mistakes. And if they make a mistake, we immediately pull them. And then all of a sudden, they don't know how to face adversity. They don't know how to overcome it. I do think that matters. And I thought about that a long time because I think there's a huge difference between getting beat up like David Carr did when he got drafted by the Texans. There's a difference between getting beat up and making mistakes. And if they can keep Bryce Young upright, keep him from getting hit, keep him, well, that's the thing. That's the part that's the bigger problem to me is I don't want him to get hurt. I don't want him to get hit constantly, but let him make mistakes. You're not going to be any good anyways.
Right.
Let him make mistakes. Let him learn what defenses look like. Let him learn this stuff. If you can work really hard, I don't care if you have to do 3-man routes with max protect and you let him make mistakes, even though you don't have your top wide receivers, let him make some mistakes. Mistakes build character. Mistakes help you realize that the biggest thing is learning from those mistakes. And obviously, Peyton Manning, one of the greatest guys to ever pick up a football at the quarterback spot, he made a lot of mistakes. Brett Favre, another guy a lot of folks would put on their Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks. This guy made mistakes up until the end.
he never got over those, but that's all right.
Yeah.
He made a lot of great plays, but he never got over the mistakes.
I was talking about the on the field mistake.
Right? No, I wasn't even talking about off the field. He made a lot of mistakes. He made more mistakes off the field than most. He's certainly gotten away with most of them.
If you can keep him up and he can protect himself, and you can help work to protect him, I think there's value in a team that's going to finish in the bottom bottom 10% of the NFL.
Well, the Panthers?
Yeah,
by the bottom 1% of the NFL.
Okay, fine.
They're the worst.
Bottom
team in the
1%. Sure. Okay. They're the worst team in the league.
It's sad.
They
are the worst team in the league.
Try to keep him.
Can I add one?
Go ahead. Yes.
I was going to say, can I have one small positive? You mentioned the offensive line. I do, NC State shout out here. I do want to give a shout out to Ike Ekwonu, who currently ranks top 10 in like every blocking category across PFF right now. I think he's top 5 in pass rushing or pass blocking, which is
he really?
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
He's been really good. I'm not saying the offensive line as a whole has been great.
No, it's been bad. Their pass block win rate as a unit is 27th in the league.
Yeah.
Eesh.
Yeah. There's nothing
so
good
not
about
so much the passers, right?
there's nothing really good about it. All right, give me a World Series prediction, Felder. Yankees, Dodgers.
Oh, I got to go with the Doyers, of course. My boy Steven Nelson is out there. I'm all day Dodgers. Like, let's go.
You're an Astros fan.
Yeah, I know. But Shohei's, the greatest Shohei on earth right now.
He is.
So let's go. And you see that? Astros, that's my fear of God Astros hat. Got some more in the back. Of course, I'm an Astros fan. But I'm rooting for the Dodgers because my boy Steven Nelson, I think he's about to take over that gig, baby.
All right. Cory, what do you got?
I'm going. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Yankees fan by any means, but I'm going Yankees here. Simply because of the fact that I think Carlos Rodon finishes it off Game 6.
Look at this.
He gets, I don't know if he
That's
can win in Game 2. It's going to be tough, again, Shohei on the road, all that different stuff. But I think they get a win. Game 6, they finish it off.
All right.
Rodon is one of my favorite college baseball players of all time.
All time.
Oh, God, he's so much fun to cover, man.
All right,
he was unbelievable. That slider was ridiculous at the college. It still is good, but at the college level, just almost unhittable.
Yeah.
It's Cory Smith, Pack Bride, Mike Felder in the bleachers on Twitter, but also It's Felder, the Substack. Check it out. Football, food, life lessons, all of that. He'll talk to you about dryer lint at some point. All right, fellas, we'll do it again. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
I mean, he did. He wrote a piece about dryer lint back in the day. All right, when we come back, we'll kind of put a bow on the week. We'll look ahead to the weekend. There are big football games to discuss. All of that next on The Adam Gold Show.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The NBA is back, and FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, wants you to catch all the action. Adam Gold here, and right now FanDuel is giving all users 3 months of NBA League Pass. All you have to do to catch every tip-off and buzzer beater is place any $5 bet on the NBA. You don't even have to win it. So check it out. You can bet the Knicks to win, or you can bet the Knicks to lose. It doesn't matter. They'll probably do both. Go to FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com/AGS. Get 3 months of NBA League Pass courtesy of FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. After 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
NC Medicaid is for people just like me.
Adults who don't have children.
People who serve.
People who do the heavy lifting.
Child care teachers. Full healthcare coverage at low or no cost.
Doctor's visits, emergency rooms, and prescriptions.
So if you applied before and didn't get it, apply again.
NC Medicaid covers more people than ever before.
Get full healthcare coverage at low cost, no monthly fees, and $4 max copays. NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
Trust ACT Construction Equipment and Bandit wood chippers and stump grinders to position your tree service for success. ACT Construction Equipment is your authorized dealer for sales, service, parts, and rentals for Bandit wood chippers and stump grinders. ACT Construction Equipment has been your authorized dealer for Bandit equipment for over 10 years. Visit one of our 6 North and South Carolina locations or actce.com for more details on Bandit wood chippers and stump grinders. ACT Construction Equipment, always the right equipment for the job.
Real quick, raise your hand if you want to lose an additional 4 bands a year. Go ahead and put your hands up. Put your hands up. You voted for Kamala Harris. Oh, okay, my fault. Good, because I don't think people understand that voting for Trump means you will lose an additional $4,000 to $5,000 a year. If Trump is elected, he plans to add a 60% tariff on all imports from China. Anything in your house that says made in China, take the price that you paid for and add 60%. He plans to add a 20% tariff on all imports coming from every other country. With Kamala Harris's opportunity economy, she's not hitting you with the sales tax of doom. She's providing tax cuts to the middle and working class, so that means you will save an additional $4,000 to $5,000 a year. Plus the $25,000 she's literally handing to new homebuyers. Like, you know who to vote for in this November's election. It's Kamala Harris. Paid for by FFPAC, ffpac.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FFPAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
As fall championships begin, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling home from today's events. Whether you're driving out of town or across town this holiday season, wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. During the busiest time of travel, prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. And remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
This is Adam Gold.
While I'm watching Colombia-Uruguay, not only the end of that match, but the fight in the stands after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Heard it got spicy.
That was the most excited fans we have seen in 5 years at Bank of America Stadium. Man, look at all the happy people at Bank of America.
Just took the other kind of football.
Yeah, there you go. More of that.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Before we get out of here, we're going to do a language lesson. Maybe even for those people who like to write.
Okay.
And I like to. I don't have time. I used to write a lot more, but time isn't as abundant.
Mm-hmm.
But for those people who do like to write, who like to read, we'll have a little bit of a language lesson.
Nice.
Before we are through here, courtesy of our friends at the Associated Press.
For our Friday.
Yes.
Also, Michael Felder, who was just on the Roundtable, sent me a picture of the English muffins that he made yesterday. Because I kept asking him before and after he came on, how did they turn out? So he sent me a picture, and if anyone was doubting, nooks and crannies intact.
Oh, dude.
It looks amazing.
I just called you dude.
It's fine.
So,
Bro.
I feel like my son. He calls his mother.
Right. Hey,
dude.
bruh.
Like, what
okay.
up? What up, cuh?
Everybody.
Like, what are we doing?
Well, I haven't used the cuh, but yeah.
Yeah, what up,
I've used
cuh?
a dude before, I guess.
For his mother.
For his mom.
Stop it. I don't joke. Felder is an incredible chef.
I've heard, yeah.
He is next level. Like, if you get his Substack, it's Felder. The football's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's the other stuff.
But the food.
The other stuff
Mm-hmm.
is what I like.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's the selling point for me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, before we get to a rewind, college football. I wanted to bring this one thing up before we get to the rewind, and we're going to listen to a little bit of our conversation with Julian Council about the Panthers and what they're up against this weekend. So right now, Pitt, who thumped Syracuse last night, is undefeated. They are 7-0, 5 games left, all conference games for the Panthers. So theoretically still in the hunt for the ACC championship game and all of that. Difficult schedule in front of them. We'll get to that in a second. SMU, undefeated in the league. They do have one loss. They lost to BYU in the second week of the season. Clemson, of course, lost to Georgia in the opening week, but have not lost since. They're undefeated in the league. Miami hasn't lost yet, obviously undefeated in the league. So you go through all the tiebreakers of, well, we'll just keep Pitt there for a second. But SMU, Miami, and Clemson do not play each other. The rest of SMU's schedule, I've already predicted they will lose to Duke. But let's say I'm wrong. On the very, very slim chance that I have this wrong, SMU will host Pitt next week. Then they will host Boston College. Then they are at Virginia and home against Cal. I mean, that does sound like if they can negotiate these two, that they're probably going to go 8-0 in the league. Pitt's remaining conference schedule is at SMU, home against Virginia, home against Clemson, at Louisville, at Boston College. And there's a couple of losses there potentially, but again, Pitt's 7-0. So we're not going to say they will lose, but I think they'll be underdogs at SMU. They'll be an underdog home against Clemson, and they might be an underdog at Louisville as well. So just going by that, there are 3 potential losses on the table. Miami, whatever the schedule Miami and Clemson have left, let's assume that those 2 top 10 football teams win out. If SMU wins out, you know what people are rooting for? Pitt for Miami and Clemson and Jim Phillips in the ACC's office. And maybe not, but you are rooting for Pitt to take on losses because the tiebreaker that would decide it, if SMU, Miami, and Clemson all finish undefeated in the league, the tiebreaker that would decide who plays in the ACC championship game is simply win percentage of the teams that you played in conference. In other words, your conference schedule strength. So if Pitt doesn't take on many losses, if they beat Virginia, beat Louisville, beat BC, and they're 6-2 in the league with the loss to SMU and Clemson, if Duke doesn't lose too many more games, it's going to bode well for SMU to sneak into the ACC championship game. So just keep in mind, that is the tiebreaker. If we have 3 undefeated teams fighting it out, the tiebreaker is your conference strength of schedule. And with that, let's get into a rewind. All right, break this up into chunks here. Julian Council, Locked On Panthers podcast. So, no Adam Thielen, no Deontay Johnson. Offensive line is relatively intact. Denver's defense is really good. This doesn't sound like it bodes well.
No, Adam, it does not bode well at all. But the thought was, once upon a time, that those guys would be the future here in Carolina with Bryce Young being the quarterback. But right now, that's the present against a very good Broncos defense on Sunday and a head coach who, clearly has no faith in his quarterback. So I think even with Adam Thielen and with Deontay Johnson, it probably wasn't going to go well, considering we saw how the play calling was week 1, week 2. And again, the head coach, Dave Canales, doesn't believe that Bryce Young can play and can run his offense and they can win with him. And every time he's been asked about Bryce Young, given a chance to say anything nice about Bryce, he only mentions, it's about Andy Dalton, it's about the team, and that's what I'm focused on.
Yep. He doesn't do a very good job of hiding his lack of care for Bryce Young as a quarterback. But there's a path forward in this game. And Julian and I talked about the fact that can you establish the run and stick to it?
Yeah, the thing about the NFL compared to like college, it's already going to be a low possession game anyways because the clock is always running. So that's kind of what you want to do is just bleed the clock, try to have some 9-10 minute drives that they can be able to stay on the field. And Chuba Hubbard, I mean, he's been outstanding so far this season. He's leading NFL rushers who at least have 50 attempts this season in rushing success rate at 62%, which means 62% of his rushing attempts. Like if it's first down, he's getting 5 yards. If it's 3rd and 2, he's getting the first down. So he's been really good for them this year. I don't really know what you can expect out of the passing game just based off of, yes, it's Bryce Young playing there again. He looked terrible week 1 and week 2. Deontay Johnson not out there. Adam Thielen's not going to be out there.
Yeah, look, Dave Canales has not stuck to the run really at any point. He has in some possessions, but as well as they have run the ball, you would have thought they would have really leaned into it. I don't know. Steve Wilkes with a bad team went 6-6 by deciding, you know what, we're just going to run the ball. We're going to run it. We're going to run it.
Yeah.
We're going to run it. We're going to run it. We're going to run it.
Hashtag keep pounding.
Yep. That's the identity of the franchise. All right. I'm not optimistic about the trip to Denver. All right. So I mentioned we're going to have a little bit of a language lesson here. So there is a Twitter follow called AP Style Book. And this is basically a trade follow for people who are writers, and the Associated Press, they write serious news stories, I'm guessing here. And they have some suggestions for sports writers. For instance, a team losing a game is not a disaster. It kind of all depends, but they don't want you to use disaster. Home runs are homers, not dingers, not jacks, not bombs. Can I use tater?
I know. Can we say going yard?
Oh, yes.
Right?
Can I say big flies?
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Can I do that?
Right.
Anyway, so we don't want to use those. A player scores 10 straight points, not 10 unanswered points. It has been pointed out to the Associated Press that those two things do not have to be the same thing. I can score 10 straight points. If you then score 3, they have been answered. Now, if those 10 points end the game, they have not been answered. So those are two different situations. If a football team scores 2 touchdowns and the opponent doesn't come back, say it never trailed rather than never looked back. Why? Why does that matter? So what they want is for people to avoid what they say hackneyed words and phrases, redundancies, and exaggerations. That's what makes writing fun.
I know. Make it unique.
If we can't exaggerate, if we can't use colorful, flowery metaphors and descriptions, why are we here?
That's what you're supposed to do.
Come on. Have a little fun. This is not 1947.
Right.
So, yes, I think that Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts will hit multiple big jacks all over the place.
Or it'll be a disastrous loss.
And it will be a disastrous loss for the Yankees. Dodgers in 6. Victoria, thank you very much. We'll see everybody Monday.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my